You know it's going to be an absolutely wild one. You've got the professor. You've got our main man, Joe. But really...
He's the main man.
No, really, you got C.D. Lamb and Mitch Marner for the midday teaching you all about debit spreads. So we'll be back at 2 o'clock, but learn from a couple of athletes how to knock it out of the park. Go get them.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the How to Trade Midday, formerly known as That Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options.
Let's go.
Or Mitch Marner, or whatever. We're going to go there. And I'm Sharif. We're going to wait for everyone to weasel on over. Yes, Jeremy Newman, he weaseled. He is already weaseling. My main man, Adam DeLuce, has weaseled as well. Shout out to Big Spile, Vic Yan, Novak. We know Juan Padilla is going to join us as well. Shout out to Matthew Booth, Middleback. 1320. Oh, we got Kalua. We got Raider Trader. By the way, still everyone expecting slow chop 570, nothing much. Raiders talking already his positions in the chat. We got Glenn Smith. We got Paul Kennedy. We got Boris Schuel. Who else, man? We got a whole bunch of people. Hold My Beer, Mary S. Lyman, Smooth 1J. How about them Cowboys? We are in KC, Cobra, Scott H, my man. Just Some Dude is in the chat as well. Other Zinc. We got the OG, Brandon Townsend, and Small Cap Gapper Extraordinaire, Dad Trader, Mella, Paul Kennedy, Day Trader Cuts joining us. Shout out to Naps. Shout out to Starburst. Enjoying the fun with Josie. You don't have fun otherwise.
No.
Shout out to Server Boy 3000 and Hamlet. Ate too much. I like that pun. Strobe, the Piper, and Jerry Garcia. Everyone joining us today. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, brother? We didn't play in this either.
No, and it looks fantastic. He's got the blue with white. I got the white with blue.
Yeah, legitimately didn't play in this. So that's lots of fun there. Cover that. Already.
Big smile.
Yeah.
You, Michael Irving? Hard to tell. Oh, come on, Big Smile. Come on, get down. No, I'm going to show you guys one of the former viewers. He's not with us anymore. God rest his soul. What got me this jersey, and he put my name on the back of it.
Yeah,
so I'm Sharif. I'm not Michael Irvin. But we got another one. We're going to be switching up these jerseys midday, Joe.
Switching them up. And to be honest with you, they call me Mitch Marner, but this is paying homage to my guy, Darcy Tucker, number 16. Wore it my whole life. 16. So yeah, that's what I really want for. So if I could change this up from a Marner to a 16 because he didn't get paid half as much as Mitch Marner does, and my style of player, man.
I like it. Joseph, we got a big topic for today, don't we?
We do. We're going to be talking some debit spread, guys, and just some basic ways that you can hedge your options positions. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Sharif, is there anything you want to touch on before we dive into the lesson?
Just the small cap gappers. I'm just going to show them to people real quick because we know that these bad boys have been running. Guys, BFRI, certainly on watch for me right here. It is going. It's got a nice little bid under it, knocking the door of that $2, just weaseled up to 190. Another holdover from yesterday, the one that Satea found, LMND. Look how respectful this trend is of the 10 exponential. A little bit more pricey of a stock, 25 and change. Looking at that as well. Playboy in focus as well today, and not for the reasons you guys in the chat may think. Breaking down below VWAP now, but I like this at $1.15. In fact, this is an area of resistance right here that I'm looking to hold as support. And last but not least, Joseph, before you get on that crazy lesson, Root started moving in the aftermarket yesterday, moving today. A bit more of expensive of a name, but really setting up well, man. So those are the ones I'm looking at.
Beautiful.
He can't keep a straight face looking at me.
It's just the head turn. The head turn gets you.
It's like when your neck is hurting, you have to move the entire body. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it was.
There you go.
So good times. Happy Halloween, everybody. Hey, we're talking about a little bit about debit spreads today, how we're going to reduce the costs of our options contracts. We've already gone through so many lessons. You guys know that I'm a credit spread trader. I like to create credit spreads. So after earnings is ideal for me because I don't want to get in, as the Raider Trader says, the volatility crush. So we don't want to get caught in that volatility onslaught while holding credit-based trades, right? But when we're going into it, we know that we want to buy options when we are buying long, when the volatility is low and on the rise, and the inverse for the credit spreads. But today, guys, we are going to focus on debit spreads and the basic hedge. If we can pull up my screen, perfect. All right, so let's dive right into it and get it started. So these are just some of the components that we're going to be going over today. Just basics, what are they, and the components that you need and are required to create and construct a debit spread. Some capital requirements, the benefits that come with that, some technicals and strategies. We're going to get into some calendar spreads and some ratio spreads. And then one thing that I noticed is that a lot of people were asking me before, Joe, how do I open and close these contracts? Well, we're going to touch on that as well too, all right? And then always, as always, we're going to stick to risk management, guys. So let's get it started. So debit spreads. Debit spreads are an intermediate level options trade that involve executing multiple contracts at once, all right? So in order to construct a debit spread, you need to have either a contract already open or you're going to open multiple contracts simultaneously or separately, all right? So bull call spread and bear put spread are the fundamentals to multiple option strategies, especially the debit spread. So I mentioned this before, that when we are constructing options trades, they're really just based or a derivative of kind of simple spreads, right? So this is how we're going to focus. This is one of the beginner strategies in intermediate level, but this is what you need in order to construct more spreads or even more option strategies, all right, guys? So moving on. So the strategy will consist of at least one long option and one short option. The difference between your long call and put and the short call and put is classified as the spread. Call or put is classified as the spread. I mentioned this before. So if you have a strike price at 175 and then another strike price at 180, that is a $5 spread. It's that simple, guys, all right? So moving on. So constructing your debit spread accordingly so you don't create a net credit. So this may be something that may confuse a little bit of people. It's like, how do I construct those? So that's perfect. We're going to touch a little bit more on this right now. So a bull call spread. Buy one call of stock XYZ at $170 and you sell one call at $175. This will create a net debit, right? For me, I like to create net credits, but this is the inverse. This is a net debit. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you create a net debit, you always need to keep in mind of expiration and how long you want to keep these trades open, all right? So a bear put spread, the exact same thing. You buy one put of stock XYZ at 160, you sell one put at 155. These are basic spreads. It's almost as simplistic as it gets. And then we're going to touch on why the benefits. It's like, okay, well, why do I want to create a spread? And we're going to touch a little bit more on that, all right, guys? So moving forward, how do we construct these? We're going to look at the chain, and this is as simple as it gets. As you can see, we have a strike price, our long strike price, lower than our short strike price. This creates a $15 spread here for us, and our long call will always be selected first, all right? So this creates a net debit, all right? So this will create a net debit that is a bull call spread, guys.
Nice.
So here's an example of a bear put spread. Same thing, we're buying the 225, and then we sell the 205s. This also creates a net debit, all right? So that's one thing that we really want to focus on. And we're going to touch a little bit more on the benefits of these, all right? So it's like, why do I want to do this? And we're going to get into that shortly. But I just want you to see how you're going to construct these, show you how you're going to construct these onto the chain, all right, guys? So capital requirements. This is really key, and this is why a lot of people are drawn to options. So a key feature that draws traders and investors to options, one contract equals 100 shares. We've gone over this into the introduction. The cost of the contracts are significantly cheaper than buying outright shares, but there's also always a catch, right? You don't exactly own those shares. You are just having the rights to those shares at said strike price or said price, your strike price, all right? So less capital requirements to buy a leap compared to 100 shares of stock, right? So this is why we are drawn to them. I used our Apple example, so it does cost significantly less, but always keep in mind that you do not own these shares, you only have the rights to them, all right? So creating debit spreads, this is really key, and this is why we want to create them, or you are interested in creating them. Creating debit spreads reduces the capital requirements, all right? So instead of buying outright contracts, when you sell a contract against it, it can reduce the capital requirements and the cost of that contract, all right? So, but also keep in mind, it reduces the potential profit, all right? So the profit potential. So always keep in mind, there's going to be a catch. They're not going to let things cost less without another side to the trade, all right? So we'll just keep in mind. So if we were wanting to buy a 170 put on Google, this would cost us $365. This is the capital requirements we need in our account to put this on. It's $365. As you can see, this is also our max loss, which we will touch on later as well. So this is what happens when we create a spread. So this is a $10 spread. It also this reduces the amount that is required in your account and the initial debit that it costs. But I also want you to keep in mind here, we'll backtrack just a little bit, but watch the Greeks, okay? You can see the delta, the gamma, and the theta when you just outright buy this contract, when you just buy this put. But now we are going to hedge this position, reducing our risk, our downside risk, and reducing the volatility within the contracts, all right? So you've seen the Greeks on that one, and then now you see the Greeks. So when the delta and the gamma and theta are reduced, that means the contract fluctuations are going to be less, okay? So that's just something that I want you to keep in mind. And also look at the profit potential. Yes, you don't have the same profit potential, but you're also reducing the cost of the combination of contracts, of the strategy, all right? So that is why people are traders and investors like to create these styles of trades, all right? So moving on, the same thing with the calls, all right? So as you can see, if we wanted to buy a 170 call that expires in 36 days of Google, this is gonna cost us $620. As you can see from a profit potential, we have a max return, so Google can go to infinity essentially, and we're going to touch a little bit more on Google itself later on in the session, but also keep an eye on the Greeks, okay? Just keep an eye on the Greeks and see how they are affected when you hedge your position. So you can see we also have a max loss of $620, all right? So now we have hedged this position. We have reduced the initial debit of this, and now look at the Greeks. So now our contract combinations are not going to fluctuate as much. Yes, the profit potential still isn't there, but you still almost have a 2-to-1 trade if it reaches its max profit potential, all right? So that's a key reason why traders like to create debit spreads. You can hedge against the initial position. And we're gonna touch on other ways where you can partially hedge and you can use duration hedges, but this is just showing you the fundamentals of how to set this stuff up, all right? So creating spreads have multiple benefits. If you already have long calls or puts, there are multiple ways you can hedge your position. And these are the strategies that we're going to look into. Ratio and calendar spreads are a few of the multiple strategies you can utilize, all right? So we're gonna go talk a little bit about the markets, and then we're gonna get back into ratio and calendar spreads because I have a lot of fun with these. Guys, make sure if you have any questions, make sure you throw them in the chat, and then we will talk more about that. But Sharif, what do you got cooking up over there, my friend?
I think we got to weasel up to Adara first, so get it, Adara.
Just keep an eye here on the markets. I am seeing a post here being recirculated on X or online here by some of these trading-related accounts. So traders circulating here. There's this initially a post from it is worth noting, a commentary. They label themselves as a commentary account here on X, saying that there's been movement of missiles in Iran. So apparently some ballistic missiles moving in Iran. Again, this is coming from a commentary channel or commentary X account. This was posted 8 minutes ago, but being recirculated by traders now as we see this buy make a little bit of a new low here on this 15-minute chart, guys.
Thank you for that. Adara, did you want to continue?
No, I said we're going to pause. We're pausing
sounds
here,
good.
right? A lot of information, guys. Questions, toss them in the chat. And then we're going to talk some more. I'll do my best to get through all of your questions, and then we're going to touch on ratio and calendar spreads when we get back.
All right, sounds good. I'm just fighting with my earpiece over here. Otherwise, Ram will be very upset that I don't send it to Adara when she instructs me. I hear her talking, but I can't. I'll fix it once Joe takes over Ram.
Yeah.
But here's the look, guys. I'm involved in a couple of positions. I did really well here on BFRI. I didn't get my top fill at the $0.25. This one broke out. I wanted 190s. 190 was the area I was looking for the top break. This monster's up 115%, and it's still going. It's got a bit of a topping tail right now into 222. I'm a schmuck. I was waiting at 225. I'm also watching here at 2. We cleared 2 by 22 pennies. So do I add at 2? Is 2 now the resistance level? Well, it's not what I earmarked as resistance. I earmarked it as 190. So I'm packing my patience. I want to see if this drops back into 190. I can be persuaded to add in possibly the mid-90s to the low 90s if it does hold up there. Several beak wetters out already, looking for that, I think, sixth one at the $0.25. We may or may not get it. It's dancing with $2 right now. If it drops below 192, I'm gonzino on this position, and then I'll look to re-enter if it is warranted to do so. So here it comes, gonna stop me out for the last little bit here if it dips below 192. Which I'm okay with, and there it is. Now we're stopped out. So now we can focus on PLBY. And we just took a print on PLBY here. Shout out to Playboy, who's up on the day here. Don't know why, don't care, quite frankly. But what I did like with Playboy was the support resistance flip. Let me make my case to you. So look at this. Once, twice, and you know what I'm going to say. Obi, gang, thrice.
Count Obi.
Yeah, there he is.
Obi, come on.
Get it,
hey. Come here,
Bring
we got to see
Obi.
it. Count Obi.
There he is.
Hey.
There he is. He's a sinister individual.
Do this here now. Yeah.
Oh. I love it,
He's doing this, Sharif.
He's printed up storm. That's kind of what he does usually. The mean reversion storm.
The mean reversion storm.
Daryl like that. So here's what I was looking at, Ram. Once, twice, and where I was mentioning OB thrice, and then we got that big boy break through that $1.15. Then lo and behold, we come back down, and what level do we hold? Oh, that's right. That $1.15 level. Surprise. No, seriously though, guys, I love these sideways S flips over here.
I love the shot of nothing.
Yeah, of like the empty trading floor, because everybody's like, doing different things. Anyway, so this one is a support and resistance trade. You know my rules. I don't take the small cap gappers as a breakout trade south of the volume weighted average price. So this is a range trade. I want to make that very clear. We're going to be looking to de-risk the majority of the position at that 127 because it is south of VWAP. And another thing I need to make very clear, a break and take of that 115 to 112 level, I'm gone. The only reason I'm in this trade is because previous area of resistance held as support. That's what got me in the trade, and that's what should get me out. So keeping my eye on that. Now, the very expensive name right now that I really like the look of this is Jib, but it's just awfully expensive. Maybe this is an Adara, a human algo trade over here. ROOT, have a look. She's traded it before. I'm not surprised because it has a $500 spread. So, Adara, get it, Adara. $1.25, Joe. That's where we were hanging out at VWAP. Now we're at the very, cheap price of $103. So it's trading predictably, but not in a way that I feel I can manage risk effectively. At least not at these prices, and not in this way. So Root, I'm very impressed by it. 155 dang %. I mean, this thing was trading at $40 yesterday. It's trading at $103. It's got a high a day of 118.15. So, it's a good look, but it's not setting up, or it's just too expensive and I can't manage risk. Anyway, LMND. This is the one I keep whiffling and waffling with. Why I'm not already in LMD? It's been insanely respectful of the 10 exponential moving average. We don't even have a breach of the 10 since 9:50 this morning, and look how quickly it was able to reclaim the 10 and close above it. So LMND, very directional, respectful of the moving average, obviously trending, predictable kind of movement. Let's do some charting here to figure out where we may encounter that resistance level. Well, we're certainly at local highs, at least till August. So we got to do the daily now instead of the hourly. All right. So we're nice. We took out some key resistance level, boys and girls, when we took out these tops right here. So this $24 top, we've been dancing with that for a hot minute. Now we're contending with a $25 top, but I submit to you, we clear 25. We're golden. We're golden for a hot minute. We're golden until about 33. Look at that area crest from back in August? Yeah, August of 22. Seriously? We haven't been at these levels since August of 22. So we take out 25. We're looking at a squeeze into 33, and that's the thing. This one is not a daily runner. This was moving yesterday. It might be a multi-day runner. So keep it up on your side chart if you're so inclined and you want to trade these small cap gappers. But LMND looking awfully good. Then you see it got SOXS over here because microchips are getting shellacked as a result of, SMCI and some other stuff over there. So we'll keep tabs on that. And then Donald John Dang Trump. So he's down in at 11.5% today. But here's the thing. You guys saw we use our Fibonacci levels yesterday. And here's the thing, Joe. We held up yesterday at the 61.8. Today, we seem to be dancing with that 50 retracement on the fibs. And in case you're wondering where I drew fibs, let me show you so you can, maybe disagree with the area that I chose. I chose the local bottom there in late September, and I took that all the way to the top at 57.50, which we know for certain that 57.50 is a big boy level. Like, look at this. Once, twice, you get it. I don't have to say that once, twice, so be thrice thing. But 57.5, that general area, we've been rejecting off that level multiple times. So it's a good look. I'm keeping all these bad boys up. I really haven't looked at the Mag 7, nor am I really interested, to be quite honest with you, while these small caps are running. What are you doing over there?
No. Hey, you said stay golden, so stay golden, Pony Boy is right. I mean, guys, we're over here looking at Tesla. Sharif's not looking at the large caps today, but I want to talk a little bit about them. And when Sharif and I I believe it was Tuesday, we were talking about Google. It almost seemed that everybody had Google's obituary written.
I did.
Right?
I was wrong about that.
Right? So, okay, guys, I want to touch a little bit, and I know on the show we have talked about it already, but we're going to talk a little bit more about Google right after we get back from Adara.
Time to take a look at a very red sector board. This is our segment where we go through this S&P 500 and find some of the top performance, the upside and the downside in terms of percentage. So what's making outside moves today? I like to have a theme for this. Today's theme is going to be, when you have this technology services sector, which has been beaten up here with Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle, what are the strong upside names? And there actually are a few. We're going to go over them right here. But if there are any tickers in this sector or any others that you want to see on that afternoon rundown with Neil and Sean going over them, Sharif giving you that info on the screen. Vote for them in the chat, !join, space, $, and whatever ticker of choice. We're cheering you on there to vote for those tickers. Now, in terms of the tickers we're going to look at right now, Paycom up about 22% here with an earnings beat. Q3 EPS and sales above estimates. They're a bit of a bull flag here for PAYC. Now we have GoDaddy making a nice bounce, up about 3%, though well removed from its highs of day. They reported an earnings beat across the board. Guidance was a little bit mixed, so about a midpoint kind of level here for these estimates. But either way, analysts reacting positively to pretty recent S&P 500 entrant GDDY. And last but not least, we have GEN, Gen Digital, near highs of day. Much like Paycom, we're seeing a bit of a bull flag here. We have GEN here with inline EPS, a sales beat, and raising its guidance here across the board for fiscal 2025. So good look for GEN. Again, these are any other tickers you can always vote for using !join, space $, and that ticker of choice.
Adara, the people want to know what happened to the shoes.
My feet had like a mental breakdown.
Her feet had a mental breakdown, so that's the end of that.
That's the end of that.
Like have detachable feet. So
Well,
They have to. She towered over me in those stilettos, dude. Like, she was well taller than me. Say that again, Ram Ram? She was 7 foot for sure. Ram Ram was even feeling it.
I asked Double R this morning where her costume was.
Who's double R?
Ram.
Oh, double R. Who's that? Double J?
Double R. Double R, Rolls Royce, Ram.
Oh.
Yeah, all right, so that's what they call it.
Dude, and she's all about that life.
Hey,
you know her like that?
Well,
She's
the YSL.
all about that life.
She wanted the YSLs, so I'm not surprised.
YSLs. She's all about that life.
Ooh, Bentley. Okay, guys, I just want to touch a little bit on Google and what I was talking about with it. I took a little scalp on Tesla real quick here, which worked out really nice. I'll show you guys that here quickly before I just touch on something briefly about Google. All right, so Alphabet reported strong Q3 revenue and free cash flow on October 9th. Free cash flow FCF margin surged to 20%, up 16% in Q2. This could push the value of Google stock up to over $3 trillion by next year and $244 per share, which implies it could rise more than 40%. The obituary was written. They were putting the dirt on the grave already with the one report. And I said, I don't know, Sharif. I don't think this is a stock that you want to, or a company that you want to underestimate, all right? And sure enough, they showed up, and they showed up in style, so good luck on them. Guys, we're just over here looking at Tesla, seeing if we can start to curl around a little bit more. We're down about 2.1% on the session, hovering around 252s. And I look to see if I could grab a little bit of this bottom. I think it's a little bit overdone. Wayner and I were talking about it from a daily perspective to see this is kind of what we want to see as the volume is continuing to decline and as we push into the 250s. We do have a big gap up here, which I wouldn't be surprised if we do fill about roughly half of it, and sit around 245s and then continue. But that's one thing that I want to keep an eye on is the diverging volume. As price is declining, the volume is declining as well too. So I'm just looking for volume to step in once again in Tesla, and then maybe we can continue and break this pivot that we could not hold, 271.14. So that's an something I'm keeping an eye on. And guys, one thing I want to say, if somebody, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them, all right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's deep, isn't it?
That's good.
It's very deep. But if somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And that for me is AMD. I'm done trying to overvalue this stock. I mean, they had a really good report, but I don't know what it is with them. The street doesn't like it. They're still a little bit overvalued. I haven't looked at the price to earnings ratio since the report, but pre-report, it was still sitting around 200 times. The price has since declined, so I'm assuming that came down a little bit as well too. So, I mean, this is one thing about AMD. It's really tough, so I'm going to have to close one of my contracts here, and unfortunately, we're going to take a loss on that. But hey, that's part of the game, and that's exactly it. So, but that's exactly why I created a debit spread or a calendar spread on it, Sharif, and that's why we're going to touch on this today too. So yeah, I mean, that's it, guys. Don't try to make something out of a stock when it's not, even though we're continuing to make higher lows. A nice steady secondary trend here after this primary trend, and we're now trading above VWAP around 145.33. Can it continue to the top side? I'm not too sure. We do have a topping tail candle right around 146 above VWAP, so that's always something to keep in mind. Keep in mind there, guys. What do you got cooking up there?
All right, I'm just going to switch from BFRI, RAM, into GRI. We just got the dollar break and take here of GRI, and you guys know how I feel about these dollar breaks. Now, I will submit to you that they are two separate trades, one south of a buck and one north of a buck. But how far north do we have to get in order to use that dollar as support? You know, we make the assumption, obviously, that the dollar is resistance, at least initially. Let me make my case to you guys. So it wasn't the dollar exactly, but we did get that 98-cent break and drop, touch and drop from 98 pennies, dropped, cool as you like, 10 pennies down to 86. Then we were weaseled. Can't say worked. Come on now, Sharif. We worked our way back up, ended up taking 98. Surprise, dang surprise. We breach 100, come back in, test 98. So sometimes it's not the whole dollar that's resistance. It's in and around the whole dollar. I just wanted to submit that to you guys. So I'm not going to punch in at highs right now with this, but I'm very interested in watching how this trades north of that buck, with the intention of then waiting for the drop in and around $1 and take that bad boy there at using the dollar-ish as support. So that's my look. And a shout out also to Scott H. So I took a couple of prints there on Playboy. It's not breaking the way that I like. It is using VWAP as resistance. I think I've accounted for the range in my stop. I am not going to trade this as a breakout. So I am scalping here little bits because I'm taking it north. I'm taking it long south of VWAP. Now, we're going to take off Snapchat over here and put on Peloton because Scott H has been looking at this one and he's been telling me about it and I haven't been listening. And he's been printing and I haven't. 870, 887 right now. HOD, awfully respectful of the 10 exponential. You had a couple of shots at this. You obviously had a breakout trade, Scott. I think you'll agree with me on this. In the mid 40s, mid to low 40s right there when we were whiffling and waffling. Is that the IB high? Yeah, that's that 930 pop and drop. So we pop up into almost 8.5, then drop below 8, only to work back in to that 8 level. And then for whatever reason, we found a lot of resistance at 8 1/3. We couldn't take it clean. Now we took it. So here's what I'm going to do. There's also a pre-market high, Scott. I don't know how you feel about this at 850. It's a 3-candle setup on the 5. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about over here. This is the pre-market high. I may base a trade off this. So 830, 835, 840. We had resistance at 850. Now we've cleared 850 by some distance. So now we've got 2 bottoming tail candles that come into that, 8 mid-60s, a little bit lower than 8 2/3. So I'm going to wait for 50. And the whole idea, Ram, to wait for that 50 penny level is to take it off a previous area of resistance, but it also happens to be the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So I get the double whammy. I get that pre-market high, previous resistance, now support, and then I also get that 10 exponential on the 5. And you guys know I love the 10 exponential on the 5. It might not give it to me. Yeah, I can speak English, I promise. Because now we've got a couple of bottoming tail candles here, and that usually means to me buyer exuberance. So if the buyers are buying it up in the 60s, maybe I don't get it in the 50s. That's my concern. But I also don't want to punch in at high. So that's the look right now. Peloton, shout out to Scott H for bringing this to my attention. I knew that they had done very well. Guys, Peloton may be on sale here. I don't know, man. Peloton may be on sale here, and they seem to be doing the right things. They're getting costs under control. Now I've got a new CEO. He's a Ford exec. We'll see. I'm not punching long into this.
Let's string together a couple of solid quarters first.
Yeah, right? Agreed. 100% agree with that. 100% agree. They've really been trying to turn it around. A lot of failed strategies, Joe. A lot of failed strategies over the last year. Trust me, we've been covering it. LMND. Hey, I like that. LMND as well just did a bounce off the 20 exponential on the 5, that 24 1/4. Not an area earmarked. It could just be a 2-3 candle holdup. I don't like how it's setting up. Still putting in lower highs and lower lows. If I'm going to take it off somewhere on a resting order trade, it's going to be VWAP. It won't be the 20. I just haven't seen enough interactions today between this stock and the 20 to be confident having a resting order in and around that level. So I need to see a bit more. LMND in play. GRI just dipped in. So GRI did that $1 dip and bounce. There it is. So it dips into 98, just like, oh, come on, Doc, come on. You got to stop tallying these and just take them. So let me load it up. Where the hell is it? Where's my GRI trade? There it is. All right, so we're going long GRI here. We're gonna do the dance with no pants here with GRI. What we'll do is we're gonna give this to around 95 pennies to account for that 98 level resistance. But I like what I see here. $1 break and take. Let's see if GRI can get its footing under it, Joe.
Yeah. We're just over here looking at the disappointing one. AMD down about 2.1% on the session. I don't know if I want to take this for a continuation above the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can hold. I mentioned this specific candle here on it sitting around 146.17s. So I want to see if we can hold this 145.30s level and maybe just a little bit lower, about 145.21. And if we can hold that specific base there, then maybe I will look to continue to the northeast side. But I don't know why I don't think I should be trading this thing right now, because I just don't think the overall sentiment of this stock is very well. It is continuing to decline in price, especially after a solid report. So we'll see. There's other things to play, like some Google. I think Google is one of the hotter stocks to play, even though we are selling a little bit. But I mean, it's only down about 0.5% on the session compared to some of the other mega cap tech stocks. So we have the overall market sitting down about 2.2 2.25%, and then we got the SPY around 1.6%, and then we have NVDA down about 4 1/10% there, guys. So it's a little weakness in the market. I know you were talking about Microsoft, and even though they had a good quarter beat, I think it's the cloud and Azure growth that a lot of the street is worried about. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I mean, I still think Microsoft for the long term is a buy. To maintain that type of growth, that style of growth is extremely hard. So, I mean, I mean, no way they don't exactly. So eventually, Todd McLean, is there any relations to Ronnie McLean, or is that someone else? Okay, anyways, I mean, guys, we're just gonna hold off and see what we can get going here. We are still forming some higher lows here, which is key. So we do have a primary trend that's still intact, but there is some noise in between. So that's one thing that you need to keep an eye out for. I was looking for a continuation of Google here, and we break the high a day, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So if we can hold 174s, then maybe we can continue to the northeast, which is what I'm looking for. So, hey guys, let me know if you have any questions about debit spreads. Throw them in the chat. We're gonna talk that. Sharif had to take the helmet off. He was hot. No, it was hard. It was hard to keep a straight face too for that little bit. So yeah, no, it's all good. But I mean, guys, the mega cap is definitely in play this week. We have Amazon and Apple reporting after the bell. So I think that's another one. People don't sales down in China with the iPhone and et cetera. But then you got Amazon Web Services, is just absolutely phenomenal. So we'll keep an eye on those. We'll see what the cloud services are up to with Amazon. We're gonna look to take another entry here, I think, on Tesla. I don't think the strength on this has totally faded. I don't know how much lower we're gonna go. That's a really great question, but I do think that we can potentially bounce here, sitting down just about 2.3% on this session. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as I mentioned before, NVDA down 4%, the Q's down 2.25%, and the SPY down just a little bit over 1.5%, guys. So just keep that in mind. And we have two really big reports, so some choppiness is somewhat ideal before we get into those, and then we'll see how price moves from there. Brother, what are you cooking up?
I'm keeping my eye on GRI. We just got a dip into 98, getting bought up though at 96, is back up to 97. I was really considering adding here. The only reason is it's a volume-weighted average price, but that was not my original plan. My original plan was to take the $1 breakout, use it as support. I didn't factor in VWAP here. I'm improvising like that, and that always concerns me because then you make decisions on the fly, and sometimes I don't make the right decisions on the fly. So we're gonna look over here to see exactly what we want to do. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. I'd rather just get, stopped out in something predictable on this bad boy over here. I don't really want to be DCing into this. It's not up a lot, guys. It's 20% on a sub $1 name, so it's not huge. I'm gonna leave whatever I have here. If I end up getting a print on it, great. If I don't, if I get stopped out, that's fine. But I don't want to add to it here. That was not the plan to add at VWAP. 95 pennies or thereabouts is where I see VWAP on my chart with this bad boy. So that is the look. I'm just gonna let that one cook right now. I'm not gonna add or take out from it. The other one that we're dealing with right now, right back into my entry price, Playboy, as it continues to deal with that range. Yeah, this one, if we weasel up to 26s or 27s, I'll take a bit of a bigger chunk out because, well, it's not really, VWAP's coming down. All right, so whereas VWAP was at 28s and I had my order at 28, now VWAP's at 27s. Maybe in 10 minutes, VWAP's at 26. That's not the move. That ain't the move for me with these bad boys. We want to look at something a little bit more concrete. But I see you guys in the chat talking about Success, and I told you I had it up. It's not a small cap gapper, obviously, but it's not trading like one, but it's awfully bull flaggish. And this is obviously the inverse ETF for the semiconductors, right? What is this? Double lever, triple lever, yeah, triple. Yeah, there you go. Triple levered on this bad boy. So you'll get some good leverage on this. Anyway, it's trading quite predictably, putting in higher lows, not necessarily that the high flying higher highs that we're sometimes accustomed to seeing with these small cap gapperish stocks, but predictably higher lows. So any dips chances are you're getting bought up. So let's change this thing over here so that we can get live updates. 12.5% right now, and going is SOXS. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to, just took out the top, guys. 23, 22 HOD, just printed 28. So this one's going, it looks like. We'll keep tabs on this, Joe. All right.
Yes, sir.
Having a look over here now at GRI. It's doing a bit of a 2-candle hold up right now at VWAP. Okay. So this candle at 11:35 on the 5-minute proves to me that, people were buying it off VWAP here. Okay, now we just shot up to a buck. So VWAP gets defended for now. I'm just thinking about, I could be adding in here because we're about 4 pennies lower than where I got in, so that give me a better DCA. Look at Python continue to go. Shout out to Scott H, man. He knows what he's doing over there. Yeah. I'm going to add to GRI. And obviously adding not at the most ideal area, quite frankly, but there it is. GRI over here. Decisions. Ram. You think I should add to GRI here at 99 pennies? No, she doesn't want me to add. I'm not adding. Oh, actually, now I'm definitely adding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to keep watching this for a bit. I like the way that it held off VWAP. Wait 5 minutes, she says. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, no problem.
Ram spoken.
No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you doing on that?
You know
side,
what?
Joseph?
I'm just taking I know you got your eye off. I'm scoping these mega caps.
I know.
Sharif, they're absolutely getting beaten to a pulp almost today. So Meta almost down 4%. Fabian.
Yo, sickest costume on the floor. I gotta say, you saw what he did?
I seen the beginning of it, man.
Catman
All right, well, you got.
What happened to the shirt, Fabian?
Yeah,
it's gone.
I thought he was gonna be someone from like.
He got too hot. You got hot. How about us?
I thought it was like Cobra Kai or something he had going on. I wasn't sure. Guys, everybody's loving the quote. All right, we'll talk some more stock right after we get back from Adara.
Time to take a look here at earnings. What we do here is take a look at day one earnings names and then things that are reporting tonight or tomorrow morning. So future day one as of tomorrow's session. We're going to start here with Starbucks, SBUX. And Brian Niccol, new CEO, did something pretty interesting here. We actually had a sense of what these numbers were going to be from when they had the preliminary report on Tuesday, and those numbers were not great. They basically came in line here with what we expected, missing earnings per share and sales estimates. 7% here decline in comparable store sales, 8% decline in comparable transactions, apparently 10% drop in U.S. store traffic. But Brian Niccol, new CEO here, apparently has a plan to turn things around. He's calling it back to Starbucks, and this plan involves apparently purchasing roughly 200,000 Sharpies for all of the company's stores so they can go back to writing the names on the cups. That's what I'm reading here. This is something he apparently had said. Yeah, this is not even a report. This is a quote. He says he thinks it's going to be close to 200,000 Sharpies required here. So as we end PSL season and enter the winter drink season, keep an eye here in SPUX, down about 1% after these earnings and with the back to Starbucks plan. So now we have Li Auto as well. LI with a bit of a surprise report. I wasn't seeing this one on the blotter to report. Down about 12%. Barely removed here from day's lows. We have slightly higher lows happening here. The beat on Q3 EPS and sales. They had a 45.4% year-over-year increase in Q3 deliveries. As of October 18th, they hit the 1 millionth vehicle delivery milestone. But apparently the issue here is their guidance for Q4. They guided between $6.2 and $6.5 billion in revenue. That would be a 3.5% to 10% year-over-year increase, but analysts were looking for $6.76 billion. So even the high end of Li Auto's guidance, a little bit removed from analyst estimates. We have a doozy of reports tonight here. The main three are going to be Amazon, Apple, and Intel. Amazon analysts are looking for $157 billion in revenue on $1.14 earnings per share. They're set to report at 4 p.m. Also scheduled to report at 4 p.m. is Intel. Analysts are expecting a 2-cent loss per share on $13 billion of revenue. Then we have Apple set to report, as it usually does, around 4:30. They have analyst estimates here of $1.49 earnings per share and revenue of $94.48 billion. Then in the morning here, a couple names of note, including Fubo and Exxon, but we're going to keep an eye on Wayfair because this one does have a bit more of a short float. Earnings of 15 cents per share expected on revenue of $2.89 billion. If these or any other tickers are on your radar, go in that chat and vote. !join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. You have about 2 hours left to do so.
Thank you very much for that, Adara.
Yeah. We were just talking a little bit of large caps, Meta down a little bit here, and same with Microsoft down about just under 6%. So I mean, guys, these things are really weak. So that's why you can connect that with the weakness in the overall market. They're so heavily weighted, and now we might break some key levels here on Meta. So we'll see here in the near future if we can continue. If we continue to the sell side, then I think we can break here. 1,565. We'll see if we hold this level. If it breaks, then I think there could be another potential level around 538s. But that's quite a bit of ways down. So we'll wait and see. I mean, they're fresh off the report. There's no doubt in my mind at some point they will rebound, but it's just a matter of how much, guys. And I'm glad that you guys are liking everybody's saying is an iconic American. When someone shows you who they are, believe them, and that's a good reference because. That goes straight to the jerseys that we are wearing today, Sharif. When the Dallas Cowboys show you who they are, believe them, and when the Toronto Maple Leafs do the same. So that's how.
Oh yeah, they've
been showing us. They've been showing us for a long time. So I mean, yeah, really long time. So believe them, all right. So yeah, all right. So anyways, guys. I'm in some more Tesla here. Actually, we're gonna see if we can continue and bounce off the bottom here. We took a little bit off the top. We held the 250 level really well, so that's why I took another entry. We got a little bit better of a price there on this one as well too. So then we took just about 33% of our position off here. So I want to see if we can continue and pull back to 253s. If not, I'll cut this out at break even. And then see if we can reassess the whole thesis. What do you got going on?
Yes, sir. We're taking another little scalp here on BFRI. Clears the volume weighted average price. Then does a bottoming tail. Looks like a hammer candle right through it. Reclaims the level. So I'm trying to see if if this one wants to continue to make that higher high, higher low situation above VWAP. So we're gonna put a couple of beak wetters here. We've already got one set up at 88s. I know, Ram my mic, bro. I know.
Yeah.
That because I think
for Goldblum. So, anyways, guys, that's a good show. We're still looking over. Are you back on? He's back up. We're back and ready to go. So there we go.
There we go. So yeah, we just weaseled out of some here on BFRI, setting up some more beak wetters. Keeping my eye on that one. So we're involved in that one. We're involved in GRI. We're also involved in Playboy. Playboy is the leash that I've given Playboy here is going to get a little bit tighter now because, again, this is not a... Okay, so I just got stopped out of GRI. It broke VWAP, so that's going to be the end of that trade. It's below VWAP now. Should have added there in any event. Oh, Playboy's breaking down too. I'm going to have to be careful with this one. It's going to have to hold this area here. This 115 area is the only reason we're in. Doesn't hold this area. I'm Gonzino. The stop's already in place. So PLBY breaking that range. It had established a bit of a range earlier at 16s, 17s. Now looks like it's given that up. So a couple of more pennies and I'll be in trouble. Look at GRI drop, bro. Thank goodness I got out of that. Use stops, people. Even Neil was looking at this one when I was yapping about it, and he's like, bro, that VWAP came and went. And yeah, he's absolutely right, but look what happens sometimes with these bad boys. You just really never know with these small cap gappers. I always say this, I'll say it again. They're around for a good time. They're not around for a long time. Ram, repeat. You did, yes, you literally, I know, Ram. She strikes again. Neil's getting in on the action there. Ram's like, yo, bro, I told you not to add to that, and I ended up being right, so watch yourself. She didn't say all that. We're kind of paraphrasing and making her look bad a little bit. That's kind of what we do around here, Joseph.
I was curious about her costume. Where was the costume?
Yeah, I know. She's too good for us to wear costumes, Like, if it's not an Yves Saint Laurent costume or Gucci or whatever the kids are, Balenciaga, they're wearing, she's not going to wear that, bro. She's not about that life.
The Giuseppe's. Do you have Giuseppe's on right now? I think she does. Yeah.
Big Spile, Playboy. Oh, come on, Big Spile. Come on, Big Spile. He gets it for the articles, apparently. John Del Segno in 80. I think that's like a 90s running gag. John Del Segno, poll on whether we get a big bounce and rip at 20K on the nasty NASDAQ. I like that. Shout out to you. Yeah, I know. We can tell the best production team around to put the poll. Ram, John wants to know whether we get a bounce at 20,000 on the NQ, Ram. John, she wants candy first. She doesn't work for free, apparently.
Preferably those Jewel chocolates.
those were good.
Those were good.
Those were good, man. So, yeah, we're involved in these plays right now. Nothing doing here. Playboy still putting in lower highs and lower lows. We're getting a lot closer to getting stopped out on this one. But keeping my eye on BFRI for a VWAP hold, Joseph. How's that Tesla look?
You know what, Sharif? We just got stopped out break even there, my friend. So we did get a little bit off, but then it came against us here. We're not crawling up exactly how I would like, even though we are holding this secondary trend here, forming some higher lows. But again, the overall market is just too weak, and it's dragging that down. And I think your good buddy Scott H in the chat mentioned something very well and very smart, and that's the VIX. For all options traders, you need to keep an eye on the VIX, right? The fear index as it goes by. When we are selling, this is when you start to see the increase in the VIX. And with the market being down 2.3, the SPY 1.6, Microsoft down 5, Meta down 4+, then expect to see this type of stuff. And you have NVIDIA down almost 5% as well too. So this might give a little bit of explanation into why we are increasing in volatility, all right? So on the downside, that tends to happen, and that is the case for today, all right, guys? So we're just gonna continue to look here on Tesla, see if we can hold 251.35s, but it looks like it's gonna break here now. So we're going to have to just see if we hold this level. And if we're going to get back into this stock, I need to see a little more conviction in the price action. As of right now, NVIDIA looks like it's ready to take another leg down, and as well as Microsoft. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. And it looks like Tesla's going to break the lows here very momentarily. So we got to keep an eye out for those things. Don't hold on to those positions, guys, especially if you're longer than you need to, all right? You want to have those stops in, as Sharif just said. Just make sure you have those stops in, because you can get hit with a flush. And Sharif got stopped out, and then the stock flushed. So then that loss would have been substantially larger than what he actually wanted it to be. So it's really key. Don't bag hold. And just to refer to options, when you're creating debit spreads in the lesson that we're talking about today, yeah, we have a max loss on those, right? There's only so much we can lose when we create a debit spread. But also, if you don't want to lose the full value of those contracts, just make sure you implement a stop loss, all right, guys? Because that's really important, and really important to any longevity in the market. But I'm just looking over here at the high volume stock. So we have NVDA with about 125 million shares, SMCI with about 84 million shares, and SOXL with 73.5. We were talking, Shreve was talking about SOX S for a little bit. It's the inverse derivative of that, and SOXL is just the long, right? So it's a 3x leverage derivative, and I recently sold it just due to the decay. These things will decay over time, so when a stock falls, it falls substantially larger, the ETF does, than when it can rebound to, all right, guys? So that's just something to keep in mind. They're not really long-term plays. They're more of intraday plays, but what do you got going on?
All right, a couple of things here. BFRI, we're still involved in this one, looking for a print at 80. See if we get it. It's putting in higher lows off the volume weighted average price, but it's breaching it on a wick basis. It's reclaiming it on a closing print, but obviously that's not really useful if you are not basing your exits and your entries off the closing print, but rather on wicks and specific price levels. My thing's coming off over here. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'm keeping my eye on that one. We're also involved in Peloton. Nice move up here. Oh goodness, what happened over here? Yes, there we go. Now we're just messing that up. There we go. Nice. So now where are we involved in at, Joe? We're involved at 61s. All right. So this one weaseled up a little bit. We'll set some outs over here to wet our beak across along the way. I mean. Yeah, there we go. So set those up, see if Peloton wants to hold trend or what the situation is. Playboy, I'm really running out of patience for this one. I don't think it's going to bounce personally, but we're involved in it, and we'll see. We'll see. Sure. So involved in Peloton, Playboy. Let's see what else is going on over here. There's BRFI waiting for that print. 79s, there's a seller of note, bigger seller. There we go. We take him out. Nice. So let's set up some more outs over here. Let's set up over here at 85s, possibly maybe taking that out. There we go. Seller at 85s of note, not able to take him out. Big seller, keeping this one down at 85s. There, did we take him out? Yeah, we took him out there. Good. So let's set up a little, we have one at 92, 88, set up another one at 92. Look at that zig and zag, it dipped big, but got bought up right away. Shout out to Joe there. We'll watch, see if this one can continue to go. I think it's giving me what I need to see in terms of it trading above the volume weighted average price. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. BFRI trying to hold up at the volume weighted average price, but Raider's got something for us at the big desk. What do you got, Raider?
Yo, what's up, guys? So just a little update on from Do-Rag Raider, but a little update from the markets right now. We were talking a lot about the put walls at 572 and 570, slowing down the markets in its pace of selling. This is how put walls work. This is how derivatives influence the markets. These hedge levels do actually create a lot of buying pressure. Specifically, what I'm looking at in the rotations right now, you are starting to see a growth rotation. Naturally, when we slow down, you start to see money flow into growth. The unison is pretty good, and on the 10-minute here, you can see it's starting to form. Now, where I'm going to start to take in some trades and want to look for maybe an upside reversal as far as where the better risk reward is. It's going to be around 2 o'clock or so. So that's the time. But right now, obviously, we need time to form a base if that reversal trade is going to prove true into the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm just showing Joe that seller at 88 on BFRI is like a dang wall. Can't take him out. Can we take him out this time, Joe? Look at this, bro. We're not Ram. Can I show the tape? There we go. Now we took him out. And now we're waiting at 92s. Let's see if we can work up into 92s. We're along 74s here on BFRI, VWAP, dip and pop. Let's see if this one wants to break out of the range. I would submit to you there's a bit of a range for the past, let's say, half an hour or so, with 90s acting as resistance. Obviously, by sitting at 92, we're assessing that 90 level gets taken out. But again, at 89s, let's see, can we work up to 90s? There's 90, seller at 90, but got bought back up quite aggressively. So there's a lot of zig and zag. There's a seller of note in the high 80s to low 90s. I don't know if we'll be able to take him out. It's up 97%. I just hope we don't zig and zag into a stop, getting stopped out. So that's my look there. Now, still dealing with Peloton, but I'm all out of Playboy now. Playboy's stopped out. That was a bad trade there. There you go. Don't break your rules. I don't take these bad boys long south of the volume weighted average price. I breached my rule and I paid for it here. So that's a lesson to remember there. Joe, what are you looking at?
Yeah, Sharif, we're in entry number 3 here on Tesla, and we got a little bit better of a price here again for the 3rd time, which is really, really working out well for us here. So we're about 75 cents in the money on this trade. So we really like that one. I was expecting a bounce, but I just want to touch a little bit on what Raider Trader just had to say about put walls, which is absolutely fantastic, and him looking for a potential bounce, if I'm correct on what he was saying, is that he's waiting for this specific wall, and you can use a tool like Bookmap to see specific walls, and I'm not sure what tool he was specifically using, but you can identify these walls by using a tool like Bookmap. So I'm sure he's familiar with that one there, guys. So that's a really good look and really good TA on his front. I know I've been listening to him a little bit. He likes IWM in the small cap, so right down your alleyway, I think.
Hey.
Yeah. So guys, we're just we're gonna take a little bit off the top here, do a little bit of trimming on Tesla here because it is starting to trade in our favor, and we're gonna see if we can continue to hold some of this to 253. Again, our stop is now at break even. We're risk off on this trade, and then we're gonna look to continue on that northeast trajectory. All right, guys, just one thing I want to point out real quick, and it's been really lackluster / disappointing for me, is this NVDA all-time high break. I mean, a choppy mess, right? Like, it's been anything but clean in my humbled opinion. It's been slightly frustrating. I don't own any of this. I don't have any skin in the game with NVDA or any of the semis other than my AMD temporary, but it's not like a long-term play or anything like that. But this high-a-day break, I mean, they don't report until late or mid-November. And I just didn't really like this. I don't think this stock is overly in play. I think we have to go with what Jim Cramer says on this one is you want to own NVIDIA, don't trade it. He says that with Apple as well too. Just something that you want to own for the long term and not really focus from an intraday standpoint. So that's just one thing I'm slightly disappointed in because it has such a heavy influence on the market that I think in order for us to continue crawling higher, we need all these big mega cap tech stocks to participate as well too, right? Breadth can only go so far. When if you go to the equal weight, then I mean, hey, it may look a little bit different, but as for the mega caps, you need those guys to participate as well too, so we can continue to the north side, guys, to the top side. So that's just one thing I'm keeping an eye on. So one thing I'm keeping an eye on, we're still here in Tesla. I don't know if I'm going to look to play any of the semis today, considering AMD's report and how they're trading. We're down 4.5 on NVDA. Microsoft is starting to slowly crawl back towards VWAP, but the volume is severely declining on that as well too. It is the lunchtime hour, so expect that. It's totally normal, but we are picking up a little bit. We're going to talk some more technicals right when we get back from Andrew.
Guys, once again, the most obnoxious captain in the seas. But this right here, one trade that I'm looking at is ENPH. Guys, this is one of the ones I've been eyeing all day long. It is starting to curl back to the upside. And we talked about, well, if SPY does get some sort of bounce, whether it's temporary or not, if it does get some sort of bounce off that 570 and it is having a growth rotation, this has been one of the bigger winners today, at least the one that are holding. I'm long ENPH right now for tomorrow's calls.
I like it.
For tomorrow, so hey. He's in it, man. He's looking to get that
to win it.
Yeah, he's in to get that return really quick. So let's wish him luck there. And I think he was referring to tomorrow's calls, so those will expire on Friday.
All right, in a couple of positions, still dealing with Piton here. Looking for this hold up at the $0.50. There is previous area support over here that I'm using for the entry. We'll see what comes of this. At Peloton, we're in at 51s. Let's keep an eye out on that one. I'm also in LMND. I like the VWAP 3-candle VWAP hold. All candles putting in higher highs at the moment. Oh, sorry, excuse me, higher lows and now actually higher highs. So we'll see if we can weasel into that. Printed a few times here on BFRI, but it's continuing to zig and zag with VWAP. And I'm not getting my mid to high 80 prints. And that is concerning me here because we're back at the lower end of the range, that low 70s, mid 70s area. That's where we're long. All right, that's where we're long. And so we have to hold up generally here. All the stops are in play, they're inputted at the moment. So it's just whether we print or not. But we're going to get back right now from Adara. And then she's going to send it over to Neil's lesson of the day. Take it over, guys.
What a day it's been for the market. We do have a negative 1.6% move here in the SPY. Q is looking even worse here, down about 2.33%. And that could be because a lot of the weakness we have in this market, as we're going to go over in a second, is in the big tech space with a lot of earnings on watch. We had a lot of these retail favorite names reporting as well, like Peloton, Shrafe's been involved in. We also had Carvana on watch here as well. After their report, they initially were pretty strong. But economic data has come back in a big way this week after a few lighter weeks to kick off the month of October. Core PCE higher than expected here for September on a year-over-year basis, up 2.7% versus a 2.6% increase expected. Then we had month-over-month, which was in line with expectations of 0.3% for that core number, but it was above the prior print of 0.2%. We also had a higher than expected personal spending print, 0.5% versus the estimate of 0.4% and the prior print of 0.3%. Lots of weakness here in these Qs. Let's see if we find a bit of a base after that bottoming tail candle that we made ending that 12 p.m. print here for that 15-minute chart. We have Meta to the downside here on earnings, down about to that 566 level. Be aware there's a bit of support here at 563 in that 15-minute chart. But Meta getting a couple mixed analyst notes there after their earnings. Seems like they're going to be spending significantly or meaningfully more than they were expecting with that in terms of those operating losses on Reality Labs. Price decrease here from Scotiabank and an underperform rating reiterated for Needham, though Rosenblatt maintained their buy rating at 811 price target. So analyst reactions for Meta are kind of missed. Microsoft also, much like Meta, had a beat on the top and bottom line numbers, but some disappointing guidance, including a $1.5 billion loss expected due to their OpenAI investment this quarter. Now, what about Broadcom, down here almost 5%? We have Ming-Chi Kuo striking again, tweeting around 10 a.m. that he's expecting Apple to reduce its reliance on Broadcom. Currently, Broadcom providing over 300 million chips for Apple per year, so that could be quite a big hit there for AVGO. If these are any other tickers that are on your mind, make sure you vote in that chat, !join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. You have until 1:50 p.m. to do so. Let's see if these markets continue to be spooked here and if these bears keep sending this market to the downside. In the meantime, though, we're going to see what Neil has to say on his lesson of the day.
Your lesson of the day brought to you, or your Halloween lesson of the day brought to you by the Bash Brothers. So it's something that the Bash Brothers over there said that really stuck. And if someone wants to tell you or show you who they are, then you want to listen. I think that's important. And the other thing about a stock is give it time to show you what it is or who it is. Because a lot of times you can come in there with a plan of action all you want, but if you haven't given the stock or your position or your trade the opportunity to show you what's good, then you're going to end up in something bad, even if you were right. And I know if you're watching the morning show, it's one thing to have a call or an idea. It doesn't matter. You got to have an execution plan. So let the stock show you what you need to see and then get into the trade. A couple of obvious and easy examples. You know what? I was going to start with SMCI, but I feel like I should save the best for last. And let's turn it around here and let's go to Roblox first, because SMCI, I'm that guy on SMCI today. Trust me, it's me. Roblox, look, you had a squeeze play on Roblox. It was ramping, breaking out 43, breaking out 45, breaking out $50 in the pre-market, just busting everything through. By the time you get to the open, it's pulling back in. Now I'm looking continuation off the $50 level on Roblox. It was pretty simple. On the daily, you had a 48 half level for support, and then look to see if it can hold 50 after that. Uber is making a bit of a move here. 50 after that. So I have my plan of action. If it holds on to that level in the daily, I want to be long back in through that 50 area. So that's the plan. At the open, 9:30 chaos, do I give it a chance to confirm that my plan is working or that it's doing what I want it to do? No. I just pop bids out in front of 50 and expect it to just behave the way I want when you're getting chaos at the open. So chaos ensues, I get stopped out, and then Roblox shows me who it is. And who Roblox was a stock with support at the level that I expected, a stock where buyers emerged eventually into the 50 level, and then broke out higher and is still holding 50. So yes, it was what I thought it was, but you had to wait for it to show you confirmation of that. You don't have to be in early, just wait for it. Wait for your chance, bide your time, and then it gives you what you're looking for. You don't have to take, and it was actually 2 hits in there on dip buys. You don't have to be in there losing twice to then get in the later. You can just wait. Be willing to miss that trade to make that trade, especially at the open. There's so much order flow coming in, market on open orders, pre-market traders stopping out or taking profit. There's so much chaos, and the algos haven't really turned themselves on for regular market making that you're just going to get rinsed out a couple times. So sometimes you got to sit it out and wait for that trade to set up. It's a perfect example here in Roblox. Okay, yes, fine, was able to get it back because it eventually set up. But what if it just continued to the downside? Then I would have wasted my time looking at it, and it never even set up at all. Now, the other thing to consider here is, a lot of times it can go almost exactly as planned, and you're just a little bit too early or a little bit too slow. Now, Roblox, okay, fine. It was chaos at the open, and I felt like I wasn't patient. In the case of SMCI, I was trying to be patient. You saw it go down. We're looking for shorts, and as long as it was underneath 32, I'm looking for standard short setups. So pop and fade at the high, play into, the pre-market low break, and play into prior support as resistance. VWAP retracement trade, trend down was the idea for SMCI. Now this one, I was actually patient enough to allow it to bounce at open, make a high at VWAP, and then get on the way in. This is a 3-minute chart. Let me go to a 1-minute chart. And the thing about this is, on the 1 minute, you can see I do let it make the high. I short it back underneath VWAP. I'm scalping to first support. and then it comes in, and before I can even react, it's run my stop, that's fine. My stop's going to go at that high of the day. This is the case where maybe you're looking at one too many things. I know I was engaged in Roblox, and that's what that early look in Roblox is going to cost me, because this is the money entry on SMCI. This is the day maker. If you're only on this one stock, fine. If it just works right away and flushes a couple bucks, great. But if it runs stops and I can jump right back in on the same entry as before, breaking 30.5, it's shown me what it is. And that's a stock which is rejecting VWAP with tremendous downside potential. But you've got to be able to get back into it here. You just got to do it. I talk about getting wicked out over and over again. And a lot of times, what it means for this wicket and why I want to jump back in. Is it an A+ idea? Absolutely. So it was one of the top ideas that I had. B, does it have tremendous upside potential? In this case, downside potential. Answer, 100% it does. And then C, is it a textbook setup for you? Yes. It is a failed breakout and then a short back underneath VWAP. So it had everything you're looking for except for the speed of re-entry here. Now, sometimes if you're an algo, you're going to get that 100%. But look at how it accelerates to the downside before we even try an SSR bounce, and then we eventually get a good long. But you've got to be able to be patient. And then on the way back up, let it show you what it is. Is it a stock still failing VWAP? Let it get out and above VWAP. Let it fail to break above VWAP. Let it get back underneath. Does it fail again? Failed again? Add to it when it shows me what it is. I did miss an opportunity to add here at VWAP, but let it show you the trade. Is it a stock failing above VWAP? Is that your strategy? Yes. Find your execution pattern. For Roblox, was it a stock holding above VWAP? When the answer was yes, find your execution pattern. That's what it's all about. Allow the thesis that you have to be confirmed, especially in those first couple of minutes at the open where there's going to be so much action back and forth. You've got to be extra patient at that open. Know what it is that you want to be confirmed. You have to have a plan of action in the first place. When it is confirmed, you pounce. But if it hasn't been confirmed, why are you in the trade already? And if it's doubled and looks even better, then you can either get back in if you're out, or you can add to your position because it now went from a B to an A or something along those lines. So allow the stock to show you what it is, and don't jump in until you know for sure that it's giving you your indication. Be careful about that opening, I guess the opening rush, whatever you want to call it, in those first couple of minutes. And to double up on that Roblox, it hadn't even had an opening print on the NYSE. That was just an obvious no-go. I know better than that. If I wait for the opening print, don't take that hit, and it's my second best stock today. But it is what it is. That's why we give you guys the lesson of the day. So live long and prosper.
Before we get back to the sportsman over there, I really want to quickly drop this news. We have a couple updates on our 2 Meg 7 earnings names from last night. They are Meta and Microsoft. First, we have Meta trying to make a bit of a bottom here. It looks like at 566. We had this green candle upwards. This is actually something that it seems like Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, said on the call yesterday, but it's being circulated a lot right now. The fact that Threads has reached 270 million monthly users. So CNBC just publishing an article about this stat. Benzinga also putting this around. I'm seeing this circulated on Twitter. So Meta up here with this recirculation of their 275 million monthly user, I guess, highlight here for Threads. Then on the Microsoft side of things, we have Jim Liebenthal of Cerity Partners going on CNBC announcing that he's trimmed his Microsoft position. So someone on CNBC saying they trimmed MSFT. Again, these are any other tickers can be voted for, ! Join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. In the meantime, back over to the midday, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Appreciate the comment there. Yep. Wrong. There. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is this right?
Yeah.
Live long and prosper.
I think so.
What's that? No, for real. Let's get back to work over here, Joe. All right. We're involved. What are we doing over here? What are we doing, Joe? All right. So we're involved in Peloton. It hasn't worked out for me so far, but I like what I see now. I'm back in it. Call me crazy. But it's a bit of a smaller position, so we're going to have to let this one cook a little bit before we take out any profits. LMND. This one is interesting now because it's doing the VWAP hold, but in the same way, it's also kind of rejecting that $24 area. There's a seller of note. I've been watching this while Neil was dropping his lesson of the day and Adara was updating us. We work off the lows at, mid 2360s, 2370s. We work off that level, but when we work into 24, we're met with selling. So I'm a little concerned about that, be honest with you. I want to see whether we're able to take 24 decisively, because I'm in this because it's a runner and it's at VWAP. So that was of interest to me. Yeah, so that's a look. Now, here comes Peloton. Now it's coming into my area. I think my first beak wetter is sitting at 69s, because what's life without whimsy? We're long at 45s. Now we're printing 59s. If we can work up a little bit more, it'd be good. But we're met with some selling there. So that is a look. Last but not least, before we get to the ad read, BFRI continues to hold that 60 penny, 160 double bottom on, but it's not continuing higher nor making higher highs. So I'm concerned about this one. But we got to pay the bills around here, Joe. So I want to let you guys know about Firefly Neurosciences, and it's taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from groundbreaking Phase 1 clinical trial using that advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for Phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neurosciences, shaping the future of brain health. Shout out to our sponsor, Firefly. They're doing a great job with mental health and brain health. We all want that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. We all need a good, strong, healthy brain.
Yes, sir.
It's extremely important, especially when you're playing high intensity and high volume things like this. I don't know. I say playing, but.
Well, because it's the Cowboys helmet today, Ram Ram. Ram Ram wants to know why I took Trenda out of his sock. First of all, I don't need a reason to take Trenda off. I've been only keeping Trenda around because I like you, Ram Ram. Right? All right? Ooh. Otherwise, Trenda, it'd be gone.
It's not our friend.
Not our friend, yeah. Trenda's not our friend.
I took that one out of.
I think Darius said that one before, yeah.
I took that one out. There's no way I thought of that first. So, all right, guys. Sorry, were you talking about something there?
Just BFRI and how it's annoying me to do.
All right, yeah, if we can pull back up my chart here, guys. I mean, look, we're still in this Tesla. I don't know if we're going to get a reload here. I don't know if we're going to continue to crawl to the northeast side, but we're going to, as long as we continue to hold this 252, and if we can break 252.80s, around 253, then I think we might go for our reload and go for that pushback to the volume-weighted average price. Microsoft is slowly starting to curl around a little bit, but still down just under 5.5% on the session. So keep an eye on for that. And don't be surprised if they start to recover, right? Eventually, these mega caps will start to recover. I know the street is worried about capital expenditure, CapEx, on Azure and the cloud, and growth as well, too. So, I mean, it will dampen the stock as it is today, but for the long run, I think these mega caps are still a buy the dip scenario, so we're going to look to do that on those, Sharif. BTC is lunchtime relief. Yeah, so let's see sweeping if we can continue to the top side on BTC and see if we can break that, and break that all-time high there on that. So, guys, as you can see, Tesla is now starting to crawl higher and higher. Momentum is slowly starting to pick up, which is something that we wanted to look out for. And if this volume's coming in on the lower time frames, so this just adds a little bit more confirmation within the trade. So I don't have too many shares left. As you can see, we were in this once, twice, OB thrice. Yeah, and we got stopped out, break even on the first two entries. We got a little bit of partials here, but the majority of our positions were still on. So those were just little gains, but here we took off about 33% and another 33%. So we're gonna hold up to this to see if we can get some 253.5s. I didn't get the reload that I wanted to. I thought we were going to test 252s again and then maybe continue to break this resistance. So we'll just have to wait and see what we get. But as of right now, Sharif, everything's starting to curl over, and Tesla is absolutely starting to pick up momentum. So as Sean would say, it's another chicken dinner winner there for sure. We're having fun on that one, brother. So what do you got cooking up?
Just the same stuff, but I wanted to mention BFRI. So I got to tape watch a little bit here. I haven't been able to tape watch on this. There is a main seller of note at 77 Ram, and we're getting close to it again. So I'd like to show it if you'd be able to. Seller at 177 of note. He's not posted, or they're not posted on the gateway. Here we go. The tape is picking up a little bit here on BFRI. There's a 77, and here comes another rejection as they're posting more orders at 77. So yeah, do that what you will. We're unable to take them out, but underline that for now. We're unable to take them out for now, but now that we know that they're there, can we target them? I'm not talking about myself. I'm not a market mover. I'm a market observer. So somebody with a lot more money is going to have to be able to do that. In any event, we'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. What we try to do is put the odds in our favor, and I think that my entry here, there it is. We just took them out. Now, 78 seller again, so they're stacked here. The sellers are stacked, 77, 78. Let's see what happens if we take out the 78 seller and look at 79s. We're taking out some of that size at 78s. Here it goes. Again, a new posting. People posting more orders. There we go. 80s just got taken out here on BFRI. So watching as this holds that 20 exponential on the 5, trying to break above VWAP. I'm not taking anything out here. I'd rather get stopped out than take anything out here. So we're going to work, and we're either going to get a print at 85 or we're going to get stopped out. Simple as that. So I'm going to let this one cook, and come what may. Now let's have a look at the other ones over here. LMND finally working back into 24. But the same dang problem is happening, Joe, where we're getting that top in and around that $24 area. The only thing keeping me kind of confident about this one is it's putting in higher lows incrementally. Every successive 5-minute candle a little bit higher than its predecessors. That's keeping me interested and focused and optimistic that this bad boy runs, but nothing is for sure. Back over here to Piton, again, working back up into 60s, Ram, and it's unable to take 60s. A bit of an inverse head and shoulder, albeit on the minute, so don't want to put too much stock into that, but I want to see if we can take out the seller at 60 in the same way that we took out that seller at 70 on BFRI. Here comes 60s again on Peloton. And there's a seller of note on Peloton here. Look, unable to ascend and not enough size posted on the level 2 to warrant rejecting here. So we know we've got an iceberg hidden there somewhere. We'll see if we're able to take him out. But 60 has been a pop and reject now, I believe, for the last 20 minutes, half an hour or so. And then we get reject again, dipping back into 56s. So we're going to have to pack our patience on this one. I like what I see from this one. It didn't really work down into the volume weighted average price. I have a dip trade, as you can see, set up for that VWAP, but it looked like maybe it's not going to work down there. The Katina man just came back from the gym, and he's yelling Uber. I haven't had an opportunity to look at Uber on the day. It's off the low, Katina man, off that 70 dip and hold, and now it's weaseling back into that $0.75. So shout out to you, Katina man. He did have 70 on the sticky note. Anybody who's got the sticky note already knows about that level, so shout out to you guys. Adara's got some for us, though, at the big desk. Get it, Adara.
I do. I actually have a story here. It's related to Tesla, but Tesla's not the stock moving on it. That would be LVO, live one. Getting a nice little volume pop. It's worth noting this name's still below 1 million shares traded on the day. This volume spike brought us to just under 600,000 shares traded on the day, so not a huge volume. But we do have a decent float for this move. 95 million shares, market cap of $95 million. LVO popping on this story here published by Teslarati that Tesla and Live One are going to be bringing a new subscription pricing to its EV deal. So they already had this deal announced early on October. Now they're announcing some new subscription pricing as reported by Teslarati. So LVO on watch here, moving, at least getting a little bit of a volume spike here and maybe making a move to the upside, guys.
Thanks for that, Adara. Yeah.
There's a lot of hot talk in there for Raider. Everybody wants to know what Raider's got going on in his position.
Oh yeah, Raider.
Are you still in those Yeah, on fire. Yeah, you got those BA calls. Everybody wants to know if you're still in those BA calls.
Oh yeah, some updates on that. I did take an L on that one yesterday. I sold some at break even, but then the rest today it opened at for red. But I will say, if we look at the EMPH trade, yeah, I'd be making some coin. Let's just say that.
Oh man, bro.
Man.
Raider's killing it, man. He's making me crack up, bro. Raider's
Hey,
killing
you know what? I have to. You know what? Babyface assassin may be revoked from me. We got Raider traders.
Well, look, the Katina man endowed you with that name,
no. He said
right?
no.
I don't know if you can just
all right,
revoke it
no,
like
all
that.
right,
But
all
I
right.
personally like Joey Ock.
Okay, Joey O.
Yeah. He's gonna give you the double finger wig. God bless his soul.
Okay,
He's
so
not
I'm glad to keep it. That's it. I'm glad to keep it. There's only one babyface assassin, and he's sitting right here in the Marner jersey. Preferably, I should have Chris Darcy Tucker. So.
Adara's got something for us at the big desk. Get it, Adara.
Sorry for the interruption here, guys. So much news. We have Eli Lilly popping nicely here above that key resistance area of 850. We saw that serve as a bit of an area of interest yesterday. It was also a key area for its Q2 earnings back in August, but Eli Lilly breaking above that level as Stephanie Link announces on CNBC that she has added to her Lilly position. So LLY nicely to the upside. Next level of resistance here could be 860, which was yesterday's high, guys.
I'm taking it personal, Joe. I take everything
It's
personal.
one of those days, man.
No, it's good. Guys, we got a really good print here right now on LMND. We got on this at the 24. Thank you, Adara. At this level for the VWAP hold, we've been fighting with this one. I haven't added, but we just wet our beak for 25 pennies. Now I'm setting up over here for the level break. I'm sitting at 39s just to front run the penny at 40 there. So keeping my eye up on that. And Peloton's starting to annoy me because it keeps rejecting off 60 Katina man. So I'm going to need you to punch in a few thousand shares there to move the needle on this beast. What I do like about Peloton, guys, even though we keep rejecting at 60s, look at the incrementally higher lows. So buyers are more exuberant every time this dips. So much so that they're buying it at higher and higher levels every single time it does dip. So Katina Man's yelling about something happening in Google over here, and it's absolutely dropping, Katina Man. 1% just dropped there. I'm looking at the blotter. I've got nothing on the blotter. We've got Adara at the big desk. If we got anything, she's going to bring it to us right now. I'm getting a notification, price spike down, but nothing is coming in. Okay, she's got it. Send it to Adara.
I'm seeing reports here that OpenAI has added search to ChatGPT. So it looks like, again, sometimes things will move. Sometimes things will move on news that we already kind of know. We kind of knew this was going to happen. We've heard this a couple of times. So I always want to add a caveat. It's where we kind of saw this coming, but I'm just seeing this tweet here being circulated that OpenAI is adding her or adds search to ChatGPT, challenging Google. That is the headline that has sent Google to the downside with one of its largest volume candles of the day on that 3-minute chart. Guys, if I see anything else on this, I will absolutely let you know.
The Katina Man is long Google at these levels. He's buying the dip off that 173. So there you go, baby. Katina Man's stepping in. He's stepping in big. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He's got it in the personal account. He was right about goggles. I was wrong on that one, and he's buying the stuff. It looks like he's
what about me?
Well, yeah, I gave you credit already,
yeah, but
bro.
I just can make sure, man. You can't leave me out in there. I need it. If Katina Man's getting it, I need it.
I gave it to you earlier, bro. I gave you the credit, man. This guy.
Yeah,
Ram, calm down over there. Ram just trying to get ratings for the show, bro. Shout out to Ram. She's a menace to society, bro. I'm telling you, man. Shout out to Ram. We're kidding, of course. We love Ram around here. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, we're just watching some Google here. I mean, hey, money.
Woo!
It's an absolute storm. So he bought the dip. He's getting the absolute bounce right now. Google's starting to bounce. So we'll keep our eyes on this when the volume really stepped in here. So guys, that's something to keep an eye on. We did break this level, this flat bottom break here, right here at 173.40s or 50s, rounded off. But hey, I think this thing is going to rebound. It's something that we've already heard. It's nothing new. Hey, but again, it's weak. Is it going to start to fill this gap that it formed from the other day? Absolutely. After the report, it definitely can. So I think I mentioned something around 170s. I think maybe we can bounce or just a little bit below that. So we'll see if these levels can continue to hold or the momentum continues to show up kind of like it is, and we continue to the downside there. Okay, Sharif is fist pumping. We're going to bring it over to him.
Oh, you're good.
Wow, okay, he's good. All right, yeah, you're good. You're live there. All right.
We're just yelling.
We're just having fun. Okay, so guys, we're going to go over to Sharif, and then when we get back to me, we're going to dive right back into the lesson. All right?
Hey, all right, guys. Look, we just took 40 pennies there on my friend LMND, and now we're going to sit at 69s because what's life without whimsy? Look, so This one, VWAP hold, beautiful curl up on LMND. Where are we long? We're long 24 on the dot. First beak wetter $0.25, second beak wetter 40. Now we're sitting at 69s. Let's see if this one wants to work up into 25. High of the day, 25.40. Let's see if this one wants to run. Now let me tell you about something else. There's somebody shorting up storms here on Peloton and both BRI. Someone's really aggressive with their shorting because we take out these key levels. I'll submit to you 60 a key level. And then you're getting a new individual punch it in short at increments of, it looks like 5 pennies. Because we had the same problem at 55s, and then we had the problem at 60s, and now we're having the problem at 65s. Here we go again, though, trying to test 65. And here's the look. So even though we're getting aggressive shorting incrementally, the higher low here is what's keeping me optimistic. That's what's operative in this particular case. And the reason is, again, I'm going to repeat myself, but buyer exuberance, buying it every time, every single 5-minute candle is higher than its predecessor, meaning people are buying it at higher levels every single time. So we'll see if that pattern continues to hold or whether it's just a moment in time and then we tank again. I'm still waiting at 69s on Peloton. I'm not taking it out there. So we're going to hang out and find out. So what are we doing here with BFRI? We're still getting that big boy seller in and around 80. It's generally the VWAP area right now. We did take out 80. We got into about 82s, but again, met with aggressive selling or aggressive shorting. I'm waiting at 85 and 92s. I'm not taking out. I'd rather get stopped out, guys. Donald John Dang Trump is coming off the lows, brother, and it just took out the 10, and it took out the 20, and now may want to work into that 37, let's say in 2/3, 3/4, in and around that area. Why? Well, that's the volume-weighted average price. We'll see if it can work to VWAP. But another couple of levels we need to concern ourselves with before we get to VWAP. There's a consolidation area low here in the pre. And if you're wondering, these candles all have about, 10 to 15,000 shares each. These are really early on, like 5 a.m., 5:30. That is hanging out in and around 36 3/4. We just got into about 36 1/4. So let's see, number one, what happens at that $0.75 level, right? Do we end up taking it out? And then if we continue on our merry way, then I'm definitely looking at that 37 3/4 because that's where VWAP's hanging out. So I'm not going to touch Donald John Trump until then, but good look so far for it. Curling back off the lows, still decidedly red. I do believe it is SSR, is it not? It's got to be SSR because it was down over 10%. I'm double checking. The Katina man verified it's SSR. So that's a look. We're going to keep an eye out on that. Yeah, it is SSR. I got it on my platform there. So good look there, Joe. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're all out of our Tesla position here, Sharif, when Google was kind of selling off there. So we punched out of that there. Our last punch out was around 250, 237. So that was a really nice trade. Entry 1. Entry 2, and entry 3 there, guys, all right? So I don't know how much we're going to continue. Maybe we reject the volume-weighted average price here, VWAP, and then make a potential test of the lows here. So that's one thing that we're going to keep an eye out on. But, guys, let's get right back into the lesson here. There's a couple more topics that we want to touch on with the spreads idea. So I mentioned before, one thing that we're going to touch on with is ratio and calendar spreads are just a few of the multiple strategies you can utilize when you are creating debit spreads, all right? So this is something that we are looking at. So let's get into some ratio spreads. This is a great method. Yeah, there you go. Catch the money. You made Randy. You made Randy catch the money. So catch the money, guys. Okay, no, but back to the lesson.
Yes.
This is just a great method to partially hedge your options position. A ratio spread is a simplistic option strategy that involves an imbalanced ratio of long options to short options, all right? So, for example, you have 4 calls of stock XYZ and you want to partially hedge your position or reduce the cost of it. You can sell 2 calls against your long leg, hedging this position, all right, at a 2-to-1 ratio of long to short options. So, as I mentioned, this reduces the cost of the trade, which initially also reduces the overall risk, all right? So we're going to take a look at the risk profile, but that's all a ratio spread is, and it doesn't always have to be a 2-to-1. You can buy 4 long contracts and sell 3 or 4 with 1. It's just to reduce that risk and the initial debit of these contracts, all right, guys? So just keep that in mind. So this is just a look at what 4 contracts of this stock was. I forget which one which one I selected, around 151 bucks. So this costs you about just under $4,000, right, to put on this trade with 4 contracts. But we're going to talk a little bit more about ratio spreads right after we get back from Madeira.
Quickly, you're going to do this small cap segment here. We have the IWM bouncing nicely here. It's still down in the day, but not hit as hard as the NASDAQ and the S&P have been feeling there. It's down about 0.75%. And maybe trying to reverse a little bit here, rejecting that 220 level, but so far making a decent recovery on that 15-minute chart. We have quite a few small caps and watch. All of these are going to be earnings names. Going to be more small cap to mid cap. So we start out with Root here, ROOT, up more than 100%. This company has a market cap around $1.5 billion and a short float of 20.5%. They huge speed here for GAAP earnings per share, a surprise profit. We were expecting a miss of about $1. They report $1.35 in profit. They beat on sales as well for ROOT. Next up, we have PTON. Sharif definitely here involved in this name. We had a pretty strong report from Peloton, which has a market cap around $3.25 billion and a short float of about 18%. They did have a beat for sales. They also here named a former Ford exec, Peter Stern, as the new president and CEO of the company. They did have a 12% year-over-year decrease in their connected fitness products revenue. So mixed report there from PTON. Now we have Lemonade. They raised their guidance for LMND, another name that Sharif's involved in here, with a market cap of $1.7 billion and a short float of over 30%. They here are, raising guidance, beating on EPS and sales for LMND. Again, if these or any other tickers are on your mind, get in that chat, !, join space, $, and whatever ticker you're looking at, regardless of whether or not they've been traded. Sean and Neil and Sharif will go over the top 5.
Thank you, Adara.
Thank you, Adara.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to touch on before we hop back into
let's look quickly over here. Joe, this is a problem here, Peloton. I like this just because it's above VWAP. Joe's like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
why are you trading this, bro?
I said it. Like, come on.
He's like, look, you're and complaining every time. Right? Every time. He's sick of hearing it. He wants me to get out of the trade. I don't blame him. I'd be too. But, Joe, I'm going to trade this until it breaks VWAP. So you're in. All
right, man. He's in. He's riding the wave of it, guys.
How you doing over there?
Yeah, we're good. We're just going to hop back into the lesson here, guys. There's just some key metrics that I want you to keep an eye on when you do create these type of ratio spreads. Keep your eyes on the Greeks, right? So the delta, gamma, and theta here, you're going to see them drastically reduced when we decide to partially hedge our position here, guys, all right? So as you can see, the cost of the contracts went down by almost $1,500, a little bit more than that, but then you can see the volatility and the fluctuation in the contracts as well is drastically reduced. And Wayne made a really good point on one of his trades. He's like, I had a spread because it allowed him to be in the trade for a lot longer, right? So when you hold these, less volatility within the setups, all right, guys? So that's just the basics of a ratio spread. All right, so now we're going to touch on calendar spreads briefly. All right, duration or time-based hedge against your long leg option position. Creating a calendar spread allows you to reduce costs and potentially allows you to collect options premium before the stock picks a specific direction, all right? So you typically buy a longer-term option contract and sell a shorter-term contract against that position. That's all it is. So, for example, buy a call option with 45 days till expiry. You anticipate the stock will break out in the near future, but you want to hedge the position short term. You can sell a call with 25 days to expiry, right? So once that short call expires, then you get back to, you still have an additional 20 days for that breakout to happen. But just mind you, if you're buying at the money calls or out of the money calls, you are only extrinsically valuable and you need those assets to appreciate significantly in order to profit, all right, guys? But you can collect a little premium while you wait for the trade to play out. But sometimes you just want to close it before and wait for the breakout and get in with that. But this is just another way that you can use to hedge. I know I did something like this when I had my AMD option open for my gap fill. I had to do a call calendar because it wasn't working out how I wanted to. So it significantly reduced my Google is popping and I'm looking at it. I hear Katina, man. So it's yeah, there you go. Holler Club. All right, beautiful.
170, 175 on the
Money
Katina
Storm.
Man screen there.
Money Storm, guys. All right. So yeah, we'll pull this back up. We'll pull up my screen back up here, guys, because we're almost finished. So this is just another way that you can hedge your long options, whether they be puts or calls, all right, guys? So this is just another look at the risk profile. And as you can see, it only becomes a 1-to-1, but that metric will change once that short option expires, all right, guys? So that's always keep an eye on your Greeks and see how everything is gonna move from then. And this is just something that I would typically look at if I'm looking to play a breakout on Qualcomm, whatever direction. I know they report, I believe, next week. So just keep an eye on this. So what you can do with this, you can either implement a ratio spread or a calendar spread and wait for the breakout to come out with that, all right, guys? And this is just one that I've been mentioning a lot, and that's same with CrowdStrike. If you don't want to just flat out buy the options, contracts, or shares, then you can look to potentially hedge that position and protect the potential downside on that one there, guys, all right? So I know this was a subject that a lot of people were concerned about, and there was a lot of questions in the chat about opening and closing these positions. So there's many ways that you can do this. So first you want to analyze your trading plan. You always want to open your long leg first. Most brokers, if you don't have the capital, that won't allow you to just outright sell naked options first. So you want to open up the long legs first, all right, guys? So open hedge position on a later date, and then you can sell that option position. So leg 1, buy to open, leg 2, sell to open, all right? So that's how you would open it if you're not opening it up at the exact same time. Open both legs simultaneously. Most brokers will allow you to do this, so then you can just buy to open those contracts. And then when you want to close that position, you can just sell to close, all right? So, and then if you want to do something separately, so if you want to close your short leg before, then you can just buy back that short leg option before it expires or it trades in the money where it may not be moving in your favor. And then you just want that long-legged option to appreciate without having that hedged position in there, all right? So that's just one thing there. And then again, onto risk management, which is extremely important when you are trading leveraged derivatives, and I'm sure Trader can confirm this. You always want to have stop losses in place. So max loss is the total debit amount paid for the contracts. You cannot lose any more than that. That is one of the benefits of trading options, all right? So how you want to implement your stop loss is totally subjective. You can use a percentage metric or a dollar metric if you want to use those as a stop loss. So 20 to 50% is ideally what I usually go with. Again, as I mentioned, it is totally subjective, but before I open these trades, I always set a stop loss when I am opening the position, guys. I know what I'm going to lose before I enter the trade, Sharif. So that's it with debit spread, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit about those and how to just hedge your long-legged options. Then now you know you can do a calendar spread and or a ratio spread. Exactly. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. All right. So bang. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. If you have any questions about debit spreads, then please feel free to shoot me a question in the chat, and I will do my best to pick them out and answer those. But what do you got cooking up there, brother?
Same thing, dude. Same 3 trades. BFRI, I was able to print to the high side as it did break that 85 penny level. So I was able to take a couple of outs there. Still waiting in the low 90s. It's been holding the range. It's been putting higher lows. It looks like it is finding its support at the 20 exponential on the 5. So we'll keep tabs on that. I also added to LMND as it got right into that area low. It breached VWAP, but we had held up there multiple times. So I added a little bit there, looking to de-risk to the high side. And then Peloton is just coming into that same area, 35s. It keeps getting bought up. The lower lows, the lower highs is a bit of a problem. That flat bottom break could come vis-a-vis a $0.25 break, but we'll see what happens there. Adair's, though, has got something for us at the big desk.
GOOGL and MFT, we know we had that move down to Google. That's been pretty well recovered here on a report here from the Washington Post that ChatGPT is launching its search. Now we actually have the launch on their website. This product is called ChatGPT Search. It's an enhanced web search feature, which will offer, according to their website, fast answers with linked sources for real-time data. So when you get your answer, you will also get your source linked. Basically, what you would find if you Googled something on Google and click the link. So it will give you link sources sources. It will also be available as of right now for Plus and Team users, so it doesn't seem like it's widely available for users of Plus and Teams. The rollout to free users will come over the coming months, according to the website, and this will also have integration with news, stocks, weather, and more. So stocks even being mentioned here on this list with ChatGPT search, guys.
It's a bit of a problem. Anyway, I use it every day, guys, and I happen to love that kind of interactive, dialogue you can have with the LLM. You can't do that with the search engine. Obviously, Google can do the same thing. They've already incorporated Gemini into the Google app. So, for example, on my phone, if I load up the Google app, which I never use, I use Chrome, but the Google app itself will actually let you go into Gemini. Can we show it? Is it? No. All right. Yeah, I can't show it really because the reflection. Oh, nice. Yeah. So on the top there, you have the search. Yeah. Brightness down. Okay, sure. Is that better? Oh, there you go. And then there's a little Gemini thing right there, so you can interact with Gemini on the LLM using. Well, you can't see it, Rammer, so whatever. Yeah, of course.
That I like about is the Google Music app. If you don't know a song, you can just hum it into there. And
No way.
Yeah. You never tried that?
No.
No. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So if I didn't know a song, I could just hum it.
No
and then,
way.
Yeah, and then
is it only Google that does it?
I think so. Yeah, or maybe
That's
something.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was
pretty
cool. Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that I really like about ChatGPT. I'll give you an example. So one of my cousins, he passed away about 40 days ago, and in my culture, the 40-day anniversary is a day we celebrate after their death. And so his wife posted something on Facebook, and it was written in Arabic, and I don't read Arabic, right? So I just literally copied the picture into ChatGPT. I said, translate this for me without any context, and it gave me everything. I think it's cool. I don't think it's the only app that can do that. I just think that, the way they're presenting it and, being best in class and having that name maybe just garners them a bit more traction, but I don't think it's exclusive to them. But so far, execution-wise, ChatGPT, and I won't be convinced otherwise. So let's keep an eye out on some of these other trades here, Ram. It looks like that 35 penny level holding on Piton. So Joe's going to have to deal with me for a little bit more. Let's hope this one works up into the 70s because I'm not taking it out until it gets there. So I'd rather get stopped out. So Piton,
Am I allowed to do that?
I had actually an order to get in at 35, but it didn't quite work down into 35. It dipped into about 36 or so, maybe 35 and a half.
I don't mind
So it
doing it,
didn't
to be
quite
fair.
get the ad there. Where we did get the ad, though, was on LMND. And the reason I got into this at this level is because it keeps holding up. So what I'm looking for is it to ascend. I'm looking to wet my beak just a little bit above 24. Now that I have a better cost basis, I think I should be de-risking into 24. Ultimately, though, looking for that $0.50 break. That's where we topped out last time, and that's where I got it out. I got it out at 40s. So not a bad look, but looking for it to do a little bit better. The last but not least, BFRI, I was able to de-risk. I still like the look of this one's jib, and the reason is it's holding the 20 exponential. You're not going to see me base too many trades, especially with these intraday small cap gappers off the 20 exponential, but for whatever reason today it's in play, and that's not for me to argue, and I'll keep trading it off that until it gives way. Until it shows me, no, that ain't the move. So that's what I'm keeping on my eye on. I'm in 3 trades. I'm going to manage both these 3 trades. Neither is far out the money. They're pretty much all break even at the moment, but looking to do certainly a lot better there than Joe.
Yeah, good stuff there. Sorry, I'm just trying to take a look at some of these stocks gapping up a little bit here, or not gapping, popping up on my scanner. But we didn't really talk too much Bitcoin through the midday, Sharif, and we are starting to pull back off of that all-time high. We didn't hold it as I expected it to. Sorry, just messing around with buttons here. So let me pull it up real quick, and then we can talk a little bit about some Bitcoin. And then I got a question for myself, actually, for Raider Trader. We're going to talk a little bit more options, so we'll see with that. But guys, we rejected this all-time high pretty heavily. So I mean, we'll keep an eye here. We rejected a little heavier. We're now coming back into this previous resistance level that we had around, I think that was 70,000 there, so about the 1.3 3-something market cap, trillion market cap there. So we'll keep an eye on this. We're going to look to rebound. Wayne and I said we like this for a 3-bar play today. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case and not what happened. So if we can continue, if we hold this level, then I like the continuation on that one there, guys. So we'll see what's going on.
Got to do an ad read, baby. All right, Trade the Pool allows traders to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part, though. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach their profit goal. The best part? This limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split, I should say, is upgraded. You keep 70% of the profits. So don't miss out on this chance to explore this limited time offer. Join now for free. The link is in the description, or if you're more inclined, you can scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. Joseph, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, we gotta pay those bills. So make sure you scan that QR code. So Raider Trader, are you ready for my question?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, brother. So from one options trader to another, he's ready.
Get it,
so
Raider.
my question is, what kind of style? And I didn't hear this, so this is for me and for people who are just tuning in. But what is your specific option style of trading, and what led you to a time-based derivative?
So as far as derivatives, how I got into derivatives, my mentors taught me a lot about how influential they actually are to the underlying movements of a stock. Not only that, but the insight that they give you. You guys saw me throwing up put and call walls today and things like that, mentioning how selling pressure would decline or start to lessen on the 570 and 572 put walls. Things like that. Why is that so important? Because ultimately the hardest thing about trading is not actually direction. You guys know the patterns, you know the structure, you know something that looks strong. But the problem is timing that move, which is so difficult. We try our best to time moves, but ultimately it always seems like, hey, you know, I got out just before that, or I got out just after that. How do I time a move better? And that's where derivatives come in, because not only do they have an expiration date, we know where money's going to move, when it's going to expire, and when market makers are likely to make a move around it, but we also do get a lot of that. So as far as my structure, I went away from, my mentors were all naked traders, but a lot of the naked trading that we did together was around, you know, just because we were really good at timing. And when you're really good at timing, you can limit your exposure, because when you don't sell options, you don't, theoretically, you can't take an infinite loss. Like you said, you can only lose what you put in. So we would only buy or buy puts, buy calls, and that's how we kind of found success. So that's, I'm a naked trader. I'm more patient. I take a lot more aggressive risk when I am right, but a lot of my losses are very small losses, very consistent small losses, and I'll even hold to negative 100% sometimes, but my big winners are the ones where I hit the home runs at. So for me, my biggest trade this month was actually, it was software, it was CrowdStrike, so CRWD.
Yeah, no, good stuff there. So guys, as you can see, he said even sometimes he'll take those contracts all the way into expiry, even if they expire worthless. So it's all about perspective and how you want to risk those types of things, guys. And just to touch on, you know, that I mentioned before, I like to make a lot of credit-based trades. He likes to buy outright from the sounds of it. And after earnings reports is kind of my area, my time that I like, because I have an increase in volatility. All these assets, all the underlying assets have an increase in implied volatility. So with that comes increased options premium. And with that, I like to sell some premiums on top of that. So create credit-based trades, such as some bull put spreads and some bear call spreads, guys. With that, after earnings, is that the volatility starts to slowly phase down, and that allows me to catch potential full premiums when I'm catching volatility at its peak, and then slowly dwindles off day by day, because we know that the price influxes after the reports will create some implied volatility or heightened implied volatility in that front there, guys. So yeah, it's good to know how other options traders like to execute their styles, and he likes to just buy straight out options. So that's good on him. So good luck there, Raider Trader, guys. I mean, AMD is starting to curl back over again. It's rejected the volume weighted average price. I will pull it up here. I'm no longer in Tesla. So we'll take a look at AMD, and we rejected. You have all these indecision candles here right at the volume weighted average price, 145.20s, and then rejected. Now looking to take a potential second leg to the downside. If we break 144, there's no doubt in my mind that probably at some point today we'll break that 143 level and then make a new low of day. So we'll see what the overall market is. I mean, the SPY is slowly starting to curl over, and so are the Qs. Q's about down 2.1% now, and the SPY still hovering at about 1.5% there, guys. So, I mean, the weakness is coming from the mega caps. Let's take a look at MSFT at Microsoft, and let's see if we're still down a little bit here. It is recovering a little bit, but still down 5% on the session. So we have some relative weakness there, brother. What do you got going on?
Yes, sir. Shout out to Nessa. She's dropping that cash in the chat, baby. $5 super chat. This is for you, Raider. Raider Trader, does the naked trading happen with the shades open or closed? LOL jokes. Raider, you got to respond.
I mean, when I'm at the grocery store, I mean, I whip out my brokerage and I'm naked trading in there too. So
That's crazy.
public, sidewalks, in my car, I'm naked trading everywhere. So on a date,
Dropping the cash everywhere too.
I'm naked trading right now.
Sorry, Raider, do you create credit-based trades too? Are you a credit guy? Do you like creating credit spreads?
No, so I do hedge positions, but they are going to, so for example, when I'm taking leaps, so longer dated expirations, March, October, or swinging into, something like July,
So you do calendar spreads and stuff like that.
I will buy a bigger position of calls and hedge it with, let's say, 1/3 of puts that are naked as well. So,
Yeah, so perfect. To touch on the lesson, you do some calendars there and some ratio spreads on that one. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, people loving the innuendos there, Raider. Shout out to you, my man. People loving that. I think it's we're all jokes around here, no bad words, no triggering words, nothing like that.
Our buddy ADL asked me about the earnings after the bell here. There's a couple key metrics that I'm going to keep an eye on with Amazon, Adam, and that's just AWS. We're going to see how everything goes with that, and then the iPhone sales. Those are the two key metrics that I'm going to keep my eye on for those two reports. What are you looking at after?
So look, man, we're doing well on one and not so well on the other. We're doing real well.
I was saying, like, what are you looking at from the report? Apple?
Bro,
but like, what are some metrics that you are looking at to see, like, hey, this is what I want to see in order for the stock to continue higher?
Well, first goes without saying, obviously, iPhone sales, because we need that 16 for the super cycle.
China, we should say China.
China as well.
Sales.
But what I really want to see, Joe, and what's been really actually growing for Apple, not a fictitious hope, services. Monster. And the margins on services, my guy, 85% gross margins. Ooh. So you're taking a lot of home money. Go Peloton, bang. All right, we're nice. 35 pennies in the money there on Peloton. So happy I packed my patience with this one. But the services, key to me, Joe, iPhone sales, especially Pro and Pro Max. I don't want to hear about that SE.
Okay,
I don't want to hear about the basic 16 either, because the margins are lower on that. So that's what I'm looking at, Joe. Those are really important to me. Services, iPhone 16,
and Amazon AWS. I'm sure.
That's a really good one. How quickly they can grow cloud, Joe. They're number one. They're best in class. So they're the king of cloud.
They are the king of cloud.
They are, right?
The king
Microsoft, Azure is, AWS, Azure, then Google.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking at how quickly can they grow. They've been slowing down in growth, contrary to Google, which is picking up in growth in cloud. So that I want to see. Yep. I also want to hear their commentary on the consumer, Joe. Ooh. The consumer, we know credit card debts are at all-time highs. We know delinquencies are rising. That's not up for discussion. Does it, though, put a damper on their sales, or is their consumer resilient?
Hey, I want to know. And to add to that point, but it wasn't the Amazon Prime Day was the best of all time. So maybe that can give us a little look into the future of how the consumer is, guys, especially if Amazon Prime was the most profitable of all time.
Yeah. Shout out to my man ADL. He knows what I'm talking about. ADL, marginal services.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So ADL, hopefully that gave you a little insight. Those are just some of the key metrics that we're looking at going into the reports. I have Apple in the LT. I won't be intraday trading it until after the report. I don't know if I'll be selling any credit against it either. We have to wait and see, and let's see if things start to set up, brother. Continue with what you
absolutely. Thank you for asking that, Joe, bro. So here, Peloton, we took out some at 70s. I'm proud of this. What is happening? The Chilean Nightmare was taking a picture of him, and Ram just couldn't help herself. She had to do it. There she is. There he is. Oh my God.
What's up with the? You know what? The hot dog costume might be the hottest one of the season.
Yeah. Katina, man, how hard are you?
There's a lot of
thing,
glizzies out there.
Are you cooking in that thing? It's not bad, eh? That's good. That's good. Is that cotton? Yeah.
What's the hot dog eating champion's name again? Joey Chestnut. This is we got Joey Chestnut.
Katina, man, can you fire off the hot dog cannon, please? Can you fire off the hot dog cannon? I don't have it on my thing over here. Oh, he's not logged in. He's not logged in.
Joey Chestnut to the right of us.
I love it. Adara's got some for us though at the big desk.
It's been a really big day for crypto. We had day one earnings for not one, but three crypto-related stocks, MSTR, COIN, and RIOT. COIN and RIOT both getting hit pretty hard earlier today with misses across the board. Coinbase's earnings especially weak there. But right now, we're going to talk about Ethereum, take a bit of a step back here from Bitcoin, which is continuing to struggle with those new all-time highs. Ethereum's interesting. I mentioned this recently here. We have this daily chart after a pretty sharp move for the downside with lower highs starting, I would say, in earnest in mid-July. Then we form a little bit of a base, and as of September, we start making higher lows. There was a slightly higher high here from September 27th up to here, October 20th, so about a week ago. But now we're seeing, as of yesterday, failure to make a higher high here and potentially making this lower high with this sharp move to the downside, taking out 2 days of price action. So Ethereum at this 25.50 area could be a bit of an interesting point. It's worth noting this level that we're currently holding at was resistance going back to early September and actually held there for a little bit. Even if you want to go back further, we had wicks into that area in early August. So this could be here. This 2,500 area could be of note. We even had strength apparently. This is an up candle here for Ethereum on Black Monday. So we have to wait and see what happens. But ETH, USD could be at a pretty pivotal point here. Again, if there are any tickers that you like, get in that chat, exclamation point, join space, $, and your ticker of choice because you only have about 50 minutes left to do so, guys. 50 minutes.
Dara, thank you for reminding us to do that. Guys, the big kahunas are locked and loaded at their desks. They're not going to be on for another hour, which means that you have 50 minutes to get your tickers into the chat. You got to do it the right way. Otherwise, Streamlabs gets very upset. They'll look at the tickers for you. If they traded it, they'll tell you how, why they traded it in that fashion. If they didn't, they'll tell you why they didn't trade it or how they would have. So get into the chat, throw in your favorite tickers right now, but the top 5, that's it. Make it on. We can only do 5 because we can't be around for that long. So yeah, bully your friends or persuade them or do whatever you need to do there in the chat. What's that? Ram? It's because I don't have to, Ram. I stayed around yesterday. You weren't here though, so it's all good. No, you weren't. I didn't see you around when I came back at 4. Where were you? I saw the Chilean Nightmare. He was working. I know. Okay, Ram. Okay.
We're catching some love in the chat here from Almiz Sharif. You both are great guys. Super interesting and fun listening to you. Keep it up. Appreciate it. And then we got a $10 super chat from Michael Herbert, who's been absolutely crushing it. No financial advice, but GME 100 EMA is crossing the 500 EMA for the first time since December 2020. Last time it did, GME price went from 30x, from $16 to $480. But January 17th, 30 calls last week.
Okay, cool.
All right, yeah. I mean, good stuff. All right, continue, brother.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no worries. So yeah, I'm waiting for LMND to retake 24. If it does, I'm gonna basically work out of that one because it's not doing exactly what I predicted it would do. So we already got a couple of beak wetters there for a 40 penny winner, but I don't want to overstay my welcome. I move back above 24 and we're gone. Now, here's the thing. Ladies and gents. Are we putting in a rounded bottom on the future? We're approaching 20,100, and we've been putting incrementally higher highs and higher lows. We're retaking now 20,100. Shout out to John. John insisted that I tell Ram to throw it in the chat. And here's the poll, guys. Big bounce and rip at 20K on the NASDAQ, question mark. Well, we didn't quite make it down, obviously, into 20,000. We got into that 23. Shout out to Jordan. No, seriously, though, but we're kind of putting in those higher highs and higher lows. Let's see if we can work our way decisively above 100 points on the future NQ December contract, or this is just, just a little perfunctory bounce. Now, here's the other thing. I've got a little bit of a bias. I think Apple works back into 230, maybe even high 229s before earnings. And I think that this level, might be in play just, as people zig and zag. Obviously, you had a little bit of offloading the last couple of days here on Apple, but 230 has been a key support level for Apple lately. So I wonder if we work back in aggressively here above the volume weighted average price. Nice 226, bottom, 226.40 bottom on Apple. Now we're trying to work back into 28. 227 high 70s over here, being blocked essentially by VWAP. We have area troughs here that could act as resistance. This area trough here from 1010, I believe this would be the IB low. Yeah, the IB low is about 227.80, so we're right there trying to work above there. Let's see if we can get above the implied balance low and above the volume weighted average price, see if that market wants to curl back up. Yeah, but I don't know. Microsoft, rounded bottom, retook VWAP, Tesla, not so much. And NVIDIA, not so much. It's more the futures here, Microsoft and Apple. And these are the monsters that are, Microsoft reported yesterday. Amazon reports today, right? Amazon with Apple.
Yep,
You're not getting much in the curl here from Amazon. It's not really working its way back into the volume weighted average price in the same fashion as Apple. So we'll see exactly what we get there. Now, Peloton, back break even as this one dips off that 875 touch and drop. Back into my price. I'm happy I wet my beak on some profits. BFRI, I'm 4 pennies out of the money on that. Happy I took some off. But it's LMND that's been straddling VWAP here. This one can present me with a good opportunity for some profits if we don't get this flat bottom break. And this continually lower low, lower high pattern that we've been putting in for a hot minute. If this curls, and it's generally at VWAP right now, and at least wants to test that $0.50 level where we crested out last time, well, then I see a possibility we could move into 25. Let's keep an eye out on this one. I've built my position in it. I'm not adding or removing from it until I either print or get stopped out. Simple as that. So let me look quickly here at my scanner to see if there's any new small cap gappers making their way onto the scene midday. There was a couple yesterday. We got a couple of midday movers, but not so much today. Really, everything's kind of had its moment in the sun earlier. What is this? Paycom software? What the hell is this? Okay, not bad. Oh, it's a $215 name. Yeah, I'm staying away from that. Thanks, bro. Oh, it's a $25 name. What's going on over here? So yeah, there's not a whole lot here in small cap gapper world, guys, that's doing a whole lot. So yeah, I'm just gonna, basically, oh, Donald John Trump.
Oh, dang.
It is going, bro. Donald John Trump has been, well, you guys saw it, 33.41 low. We just took 37 right now. The volume weighted average price, I already told you guys, 37 2/3. So Donald John Trump working back into VWAP. We'll see what it does. Does it curl back up, retake it, or what the situation is, Joe? I'm not really inclined on trading it today. What are you looking at over there?
No, some people in the chat are
popping. Sorry,
Chewy,
Joe.
Poppy, no, go ahead. Do what you got to do.
CHWY says John Del Segno, and he's absolutely accurate. There it is. Chewy, this is the 5-minute look. Very directional there. Shout out to you, John, on Chewy. The Katina Man's quite impressed with it as well. So we just took, he took his position off. Yes, the Katina Man basically saying yesterday we got wind that Catman meowed his way out of, say that again, Ramram? But he's sitting right beside Ramram. How could he do that?
I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know.
Because it's Fabian. I got it. No, seriously. No, here it is. Here it is.
Just call the boy a little bit slow to the dance because, I had no idea that Fabian was Roaring Kitty.
Well, because he didn't have the shirt on.
He didn't have the shirt on. I thought he was some guy. I thought he was someone from like Cobra Kai or like the Three Ninjas or something along those lines.
No, he took it off early. It was very Keith Gill early.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, on to the next, guys. Listen, a lot of people in the chat are asking me to take. What is going on? What is going on here? Okay, anyways, something is. Don't pull up my screen just this second, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I lost connection.
Yeah, did you? Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm out of here. Okay, so anyways, guys, back because it's in my ear right now, and it's kind of frustrating me. But anyways, guys, listen. So I'm just gonna take a look at Uber. I didn't dab too much into the report, but as of right now, we're down to 11% on the session, 11 1/4. So this thing's a little bit weak. If you're looking to continue the trend, then you got the nod of my approval. But the quote of the day, when somebody shows you who they are, believe it.
Boom.
Right? And what is Bitcoin? Do you believe in it or not? I don't know. But when they show you that we can vastly appreciate over time, I'm going to look to join that, guys. So that is my current position. We are in some IBIT around 40.07s, now trading at 40.12. So let's see if we can start to recover. We'll come back. We'll talk some more IBIT and stock when we get back from Madeira.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean, can we hit the dollar club, please, for the Raider Trader? His first dollar club trade of the show. Everyone, we have our solar EMPH. I am still holding this one. It is rocketing. Good trade here. Again, this is Solars. This was off the 570 bottom on SPY that we wanted to time for that buying pressure. So again, Solars, I'm anticipating this to keep going up to $88 tomorrow, but I will certainly be holding this into the close.
Data connection lost. Yeah. We all know about that.
I thought someone was.
If you're part of that crew, you know exactly that sound because you haven't been on it that long.
No, I
right?
use something else.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Shout out to John Del Segno, man. He's bringing Chewy to our attention over here. Now we've loaded it up on the trading screen. John, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm a little. I'd like this to pull back a little bit, John. I use the 10 exponential on the 5-minute as a kind of an informal gauge of overbought and oversold. And when it gets really extended, like when we pop that 27, 23 HOD, and concurrently the 10 exponential was below 27, I felt we needed to drop a little bit. Now we're getting a 2-candle pullback over here. So this is more like it doesn't actually have to drop into the 10. Seems to come back a little bit closer, and then we'll jump into it. So I'm going to keep my eye here certainly on Chewy. It's running real well. Let's put that up on the side chart. Yeah, there it is. So now we're good. I might set something up at 27.05 just to front run the 10 and front run the whole dollar. What's the spread right now on this monster? It's two pennies. That's not too bad. Nothing to really complain about there. That's manageable. Up 2% only, though, but very directional chart, very respectable chart. So, yeah, I'm going to try to work my way into Chewy. Now, I've also got to manage my other positions, and Piton still hanging out near my entry. I was able to de-risk quite nicely over here on the move up. I'm happy that I did that, but it's coming into my my ad area. I've been hanging out at 35s for a hot minute to take advantage of the bottom that we're putting in there. It hasn't printed me, and now it's popping back off into the mid-40s. So, yeah, proving that there are buyers in and around there. How about that LMND? This one's killing me, bro. Killing me. I shouldn't have added over here at 65. I should have just taken it out for the flat bottom break, but it's still not putting any lower, significantly lower lows. We're still hanging out at that 50 penny area. So I'm going to continue to pack my patience on this. See if I can print something to the high side. BFRI, we've de-risked the majority of this position. We're 1 penny out of the money at the moment as it kind of just straddles VWAP. This isn't what I want. I'm not looking at getting into these names because they're straddling VWAP. Come on, bro. You popped up 84% and then you're going to trade like this? Let's go. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep a lookout on that. But I'm going to try to work my way somehow into Chewy as it comes down into that 27 area, coming awfully close, 27.07 now, Joe, here on the bid, 09s, though, on the ask, as it gets a little closer.
Yep, good stuff there. We have someone in the chat. Today is Bitcoin's 16th anniversary. On the 31st of October, 2008, the Bitcoin white paper was released. So if anybody can confirm that, then that's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to expect a little bit better of a performance on your birthday, especially on your 16th birthday, all right? So let's see if we can continue here, guys. We're still in this position. We took about a quarter of it off, and we're sitting on about 75% of it still here. So we're going to continue to hold. If we can break this pivot high, then that'll be fantastic around 40-30s. But I think in order for this to kind of hit those levels, we're going to need the overall market to kind of back that up as well, too. I just want to point out something. I took a little stab on Advanced Money Destroyer, as Sean referred to this, AMD. It wasn't, I mean, I'm not in sync with this stock, so I just got out right away. I want nothing to do with it right now, and I'm going to keep it that way. I don't want to trade AMD. I'm just not in sync with it. I'm not happy about its performance. So in that case, there's a million other stocks that we can trade. It doesn't have to be advanced money depleter, all right? So that's the look on that. And we're just going to continue on IBIT here as we can continue to the top side here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
And start locking in a little bit more gains. We'll take another quarter off there and see what's going on. But guys, we only have about 45 minutes left in the session today. If you have any questions on the lesson, make sure you drop them in the chat, right? So we can answer them. If they're not in the chat or you're thinking them, then you got to put them there, because not only if you're asking this question, there's probably a handful of other people who are curious about the same thing. So guys, just continue to put them in the chat and we'll answer them. And Sharif, IBIT is continuing to crawl higher, which we really like. So let's see if we can recover a bit of the day. Still down about 1.61%.
So Joseph, everybody knows you're holding IBIT.
I am.
In the long term.
I am.
Have you wet the beak? Any profit? And have you taken anything off the table?
No, I'm hodling for 25 years. I know, you think I'm joking.
No, I'm not. I don't think you're joking, dude.
I'm dead serious.
I'm serious.
I am not touching it whatsoever.
I love it.
The only thing that I will do is when it becomes optionable, I will sell some calls. If we are in some drawdowns, I will look to collect some premiums on that just to hold those unrealized gains.
I love it.
I
love
so
it,
that's something that I'm going to do. No, guys, seriously, I have some of the underlying asset on a personal that I mess around with. But as for the long term, I'm in it for the long term, and I will look to mitigate risk. But there's no way I will only add to those positions. I have a game plan, and that is to exactly hold it for as long as I can. I mean, unless it goes to absolute zero and is destroyed or something horrible happens, then other than that, I'm in it for the long term, my friend.
All right, just looking see what the situation here. Peloton popping back up. Kind of, man, I really wanted that fill at 35. I should have moved it up. I didn't move it up. That would have been a nice 20-penny winner quick as you like there. So we'll see what comes of that. Let's have a look at our friend Chewy. Where the hell is it? There it is. All right, we got into Chewy here. I don't mind defending this into 27. Where this current candle, 5-minute candle, a higher low than the previous one. I've already set up a beak wetter just to front run that 20-penny area, knowing that 23 is the high of the day. So if we work into the high of the day, I expect a little bit of resistance. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Not much else going on. Peloton popping off my area again. Chewy still, we're in the money, but nothing to write about. LMND, what are you doing, LMND? Come on. We're still at 60s here on LMND, but we're still very much closer to VWAP. So my hope is this one gets a bit of a nice bump from the anticipated liquidity that comes in usually at around this time in the market. So we've already put in our stop to account for the area. But I want to let you guys know that Donald John Trump had a big boy red candle there off its nice little ascent there off that 34, let's call it 34 touch and pop into 37. Now we're looking like we're going to hold generally 36. So I don't know how many candle green it was out of the bunch over here, but candles green. Yeah. I'm sorry. I speak for 3 hours. You know, sometimes you're just going to slip up. But the couple of red candles over. This guy, bro, he's like, yo, you're only 2 hours 20 so far. Don't get it carried away. Yeah, in any event, I'm looking for this one to take out 37. If we can definitely work into that 37.5, that would be excellent. That'd be the VWAP level I think a lot of us are looking at. Yeah, not much else. I guess it did reject at that pre-market low, pre-market consolidation low that we've been talking about there. That 37 did get defended early on, so it looks as if it did reject off there. That's a level I think we called earlier, but didn't take the trade. So let's pack our patience, see if it wants to work up there. LMND still doing its thing. Okay, Chewy, not bad. Not bad. Okay, so Chewy getting a bit of a curl here. So now we're looking at printing in front of that 20-penny area. We'll see if we get that. Peloton, zigging and zagging, nothing doing there, Joe. So same 4 positions, nothing really moving a whole lot on the day, I got to say right now, not in small cap or these non-Mag 7 names. Apple, though, let's have a look at Apple over here because it's kind of been doing a 4 or 5 candle hold up here at the volume weighted average price. Not quite at VWAP, guys. but now putting in lower highs and lower lows, so maybe looking like it wants to curl down off that possible 228 pop and reject. So AAPL down 1%. This one reports after the bell. Keep that in mind, right? So looks like people taking profits over here. Tesla as well, curling back into the volume weighted average price. It's not zooming up, but it's putting incrementally higher highs and higher lows. Still having trouble though with this area at 253 and a quarter. Generally, we'll keep an eye out on that. Microsoft just broke down below VWAP again, and Meta's been straddling these general area lows for the majority of the afternoon anyway, since around 11:30 when it got down there. It hasn't been able to reascend anywhere near the volume weighted average price or the like. So that is the look there. Let's have a look at some of these other positions. Peloton popping back up. Didn't get the print, like literally got all the way into my level on LMND, didn't cross, so didn't get printed. So we'll just pack our patience on that. Nice move up here on LMND into 75s. I'm looking for a 24 break and take, Joe.
Yeah, that's some good stuff there, guys. I'm just continuing to look at the broader market here, see what SPY and the Qs are. We're still hovering around that down about 1.5 on the SPY and about 2 1/10 on the Qs. So we're just chopping around, trading in this range. I'll pull it up a little bit. I took another quarter off on IBIT, but let's talk a little bit about the Qs. I mean, we sold off pretty heavy during the opening auctions. You can see this 5-minute range that absolutely just broke right off the bat. So that's a good 5-minute for anybody who's playing the 5-minute orb. That's a really nice orb there for you guys. You have the volume, the consistent volume, and just the conviction within the dump. And the buying volume, and there hasn't been very much buying pressure ever since, right? We're slowly starting to curl back up, but I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to need some momentum, I think, in order for us to break any higher. We're going to need to see that volume step in, but as of now, it's definitely dwindled and started to fall off there a little bit, guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come test the volume weighted average price or not even, and then continue and possibly make another low of day. I mean, I thought that there was going to be a little bit of choppiness, especially with 2 of the larger companies on the planet reporting after the bell with Amazon and Apple. So I think a lot of the market is holding cash on the sidelines and waiting for these guys to report, and rightfully so, right? You don't want to be owning too much going into these reports, but just wait and see how they come out and see how the street absorbs those types of stuff. So yeah, somebody says that I should always wear this outfit. No, that's okay. You know what? That's okay. I think I like coming in with my dress shirt and my pants and stuff like that. I'm not going to be wearing a literal
Joe's like super dapper. Bro.
Yeah, super dapper.
Let's talk about Carvana and Roblox because the chat wants us to talk about that. Look, obviously a big move up in the aftermarket yesterday for Vana. The aftermarket high, this pop right there, right at 410, 257.95. You know what the high is today? 257.87. So we're still dealing with the high from yesterday's aftermarket as a level of resistance so far, but we're working our way awfully close to it. If I just had to guess, and that's all that it is, I think we breach it over here. We've been very respectful of the 10 or the 20, the higher lows, the higher highs. They've all been in play for Carvana. So keep your eye out on this one. Not one that I really want to trade during the show, given the spread and the expenses. So CVNA in focus. RBLX as well, another earnings report this morning. They did quite well, popping up into the pre-market highs, almost 54 bucks. Technical high on the day, 52.65. We've been holding VWAP here, guys, on RBLX, putting in those higher highs and higher lows now, but it hasn't been that smooth a sailing. Raider, though, Raider's got something for us. What do you got, Raider?
Oh, I got a few things for you guys. First of all, when we came back to the SPY, I just want to say some people were talking about TLT, if I'm playing the bounce in that, et cetera, et cetera. Regards to SPY and this bottom around here, around 570 that we've been kind of forming all day, the idea is, again, I'm waiting to long IWM, TLT, bonds, and small caps, IWM. Once TNX, once yields go below 4.2, this is going to be the big trigger for what I believe to be a bigger move in bonds, TLT, huge reversals to the upside. The question is, have we topped today? There has been a lot of selling pressure, but again, 4.2 is my trigger for IWM and TLT. And then another member I heard mention They're wondering, should they swing SPY into the close or what should they do? Personally speaking, I would actually do IWM if you wanted to catch some sort of bounce into tomorrow, just because this one is holding off the low a lot better, and this would likely get a bigger gap up. But that's just me. Regardless, guys, ENPH still being the money. But yeah, anyway, back to you guys. There we go.
We got it for you, Raider. We got you.
We got you.
Thank you,
Raider.
thank you.
We got you, my guy.
Shout out to Raider, man. Killed it. And awesome dude, by the way. Got to hang out with the guy yesterday. Didn't really know him too much because, he's always with the Katina man and the Neil. And I never really had interacted with him. Solid dude. Awfully smart kid. Very impressive. And if you guys are following him, you're doing yourself a service because he chats up a storm, but he also knows what he's saying. So shout out to Raider. All right, guys, let's have a look over here. LMND, it crossed. We got the cross, but true to form, we didn't get the fill because it's a bit of a spready one. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. I still like what I see, but I don't like the 5-minute right now. Topping tail candle through VWAP. If we don't recover from that topping tail quick as you like, then this ain't for me, and I'm probably just going to flatten out, break even. But I am doing well here on Chewy. We just took out some profits there through the break of 20. Now I've set up another beak wetter at the 27.23 area. Let's see if we can break through that. That's the high of the day. That's why I've set it up there. The other one that we're involved in right now, Piton, still doing nothing, still zigging and zagging. I'm in this range, so I'm fine with it. I don't have much left. So if I get filled at 35 and then we pop back up off there, that would be a good look, but not holding my breath. Now this one, BFRI is the problem. I was able to de-risk a little bit up here at 85s. I've already got my stop below 60s, well, only because once, twice, and we haven't done the OB thrice dip into 160 quite yet, but I'm ready for it. So I'm also of the opinion that we likely get it. Now, maybe we get a pop and get me out of trouble before, but the thing is, we've got that flat bottom at 160, right? But lower high, lower high, lower high. You guys get it, lower high. I think this one flat bottom breaks. But hopefully we'll be able to get out of this for some profits before it does just that, Joe. What is this one doing, LMND? I hate you.
No.
All right, all good there, Joe.
Nothing personal, nothing personal. It's nothing personal.
Of course not. What are you looking at, homie?
Nothing. Sharif, someone in the chat asked us to take a look at W. They said they wet their beak, so we'll give you the we'll give you the wet the beak on the W. But then my second question is, I don't know, what are your thoughts? What is your thesis? What is your trade plan on Wayfair? Because if I'm looking at this stock, I'm automatically going to move on to the next one because what I see from a daily standpoint, I am not liking. I don't want this sideways movement. I don't see anything here from a dividend standpoint or ex-dividend date, so therefore they don't issue one. So really, what are your intentions here in this stock? Are you buying the bottom here? Are you looking for a bounce? Are you? I don't know. Yeah, I need to know a little bit more about what your intentions are, but you're getting the Matumbo no from me on that one. I don't like Wayfair. It's a lot of other.
It doesn't have what you need.
So no, it does not. So, but we're gonna go off to Andrew, guys. All right.
Okay, so yeah, we had to, not wet our beak, but, whatever pirate term there is for that. But no, if you want to pull up my chart right here, one setup I'm actually looking at is...
Trying to take a look here.
No.
Make sure no one's coming to bother you.
This is all right. This is outrageous. One setup I'm looking at, guys, is actually Disney. Now, this is a concept I want you guys to take home with you. Since we did just raid and take over the ship, we like to plunder some ideas. So right here, one idea that you want to talk about is called watering hole principle. The more times a liquidity zone is tagged, the more likely the next zone tag is going to break through. And the reason it's called watering hole principle, the more animals that come to the watering hole and drink from it, the faster the liquidity dries up and the more they have to go to the next one. So when you have something like Disney right here and you're considering, well, wait a second, we haven't broken that last high. We flagged from the high down and now we had a point of pain to the downside and we're moving up. This is a breakout potential for me into next week calls 1108 at the money strike for Disney.
hopefully it's a little better than Donald's Secret Service that he had rolling up over there for a little bit. So keep an eye on Raider Trader. A hot commodity needs the security around them at all times, guys. Good look there. So we'll continue at it. This is what I mentioned not too long ago, guys. This is what I mentioned not too long ago. We didn't have too much momentum in the overall market. What happened? We failed to break the volume weighted average price. We're trading under VWAP and now pushing down towards the southeast. All right, so that's just what's happening. And in order for Bitcoin to go higher, I'm going to need the market backing it, I think, here. Especially now just due to the correlation between the two assets. We're starting to pull back a little bit. I only got a couple more cents until I get stopped out break even. And yeah, guys, we're slowly curling over here. I mean, if only you guys could hear what I could hear, you know what I mean? It's we have a good time over here on the show. So, okay, so now we'll come back, guys. We're going to talk some more stock. Let me know what you're looking at. We'll take a gander at it. But we're going to go to Adara with money.
We're going to take a look here at the U.S. dollar at 1:30 p.m. Usually we look at the daily chart when we do this in the morning. So I'd like to look at a bit of a different perspective when we take it again in the afternoon. And what I want to look at is this monthly chart. Look at this DXY taking out the last 2 months of price action to the upside here. But it's interesting to note we're closing basically where we opened the month in August for one of our first two flushes there. August and September, both sharply red. Both here, we have a close of October and the open of August at that 104.10 level. So this is particularly interesting because August, we had that big flush to the downside with the NFP print. That was when we got that Black Monday on August 5th. After the NFP, we had Friday of that year or that month. So I think this is really interesting to note because we're going to get non-farm payrolls to kick off the month of November. So we'll have to see if this 104.10 area ends up being a bit of a curse for that DXY. Either way, non-farm payrolls tomorrow. We had expected to add 113,000 jobs. That's actually going to be the slowest growth in 6 months if that is the case. So this NFP could be a bit of a doozy. For context, here's the move down in the DXY on that August NFP. We got the number on Friday, selling off pretty sharply here, then sold off again on Black Monday the following Monday. So this could be a bit of an interesting level here. Of course, it could all be conjecture, but worth noting, DXY an interesting level for these NFP prints and the starts of the month. With that in mind, you only have 20 minutes left to vote for your ticker of choice, exclamation point, join, space, $, and whatever ticker you're looking at. Back to the sports game.
So back to the sports games? Yeah. Hey, let's go.
It's like, Obi, go sports.
Go sports. Yeah, go sports.
Shout out to Ob. Yes, Joe, what were you looking at?
You know what, I was just looking at the overall market, Sharif, and I said that we're not going to break VWAP. I think we continue to the southeast and potentially make a new low up day. The Qs are crawling towards that, my friend. So I think if momentum starts to pick up, if there's any type of sell program coming in around 2 o'clock this afternoon or shortly after, then I think we are going to breach that.
Yeah, I kind of have to, it's a bit of a tougher look there.
Yeah.
Let's put in our stop here. Oh, goodness. What do we got on choose? All right, so we'll just put in that. So we'll take it out.
So while you're doing something, I have a question for you in the chat, my friend. Do you ever trade the indices?
I did. I used to trade the future all the time, but I haven't done it lately. But yeah, I chart a lot off the futures, especially if I'm trading the Mag 7. You're always going to see me looking at the NQ. I don't typically trade I don't typically chart, the ES when I'm trading the Mag 7. It's usually the NQ. But in the morning, I do that ES look. So yeah, I don't necessarily trade them, but
there you go,
look at them.
CDP.
Yeah.
Here's your question answered.
So there you go, CDP. Look, I'm looking at DJT over here because now it's curling right back up again. By the way, I got stopped out for the remaining amount on Peloton, so we'll take a bit of an L for the last little bit there. I can still be persuaded to take Peloton north again if it does hold up at VWAP, but I'd rather wait for it to do its thing, 25. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna just jump into it. So we're gonna keep an eye out on Peloton. If it wants to reclaim the volume weighted average price, fantastic. If it doesn't, no go there. Still holding on to my Chewy position there. I think we're about 10 pennies out of the money on this one. We did get that little bit of an ad at 27.02s. Now printing 95s. Anything below 90, I'm gone there. So that Peloton trade is done. How's that LMND doing? Not good either, dude. And we just got stopped out of that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a tougher afternoon today. Yeah. So taking some rinsing here. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you there, bro.
Hey, man.
So
It's
we'll
all
keep
love,
an
man.
eye out on LMND. If it wants to set up again, it was a good look. If Peloton wants to set up again, it will be a good look. I'll keep my eye on all of them. But right now, we're just in that one position on Chewy, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, man, it's part of the game. Sometimes the days don't go how we always expect them to, and you're just not in sync with the market. And we all have those days, guys, so don't think that just because we talk a lot on the show and stuff that we don't have them, but we definitely do, guys. Sometimes things aren't easy. Sharif knows that I have an AMD position that's not doing too well and other things, guys. So I think learning how to cope with those losses is something that really keeps you in the game for a lot longer and realize that we all take them, right? So it's a part of the game. It's something that you'll never be able to phase out, unfortunately. So the quicker that you can accept that, the better you are off. So it's part of it. Some days Sharif's buzzing, and then some days we're just not buzzing, and that's just part of the game. So we'll keep an eye out on certain things. AMD is one of those things that I'm not in sync with. That's exactly what I wanted. We'll keep an eye out on AMD here. It might do a flat bottom break, guys. So, hey, I told you I'm not in sync with this stock, so I'm not going to take any more trades, but I do think it is going to break the low here. Unfortunately, I do have a pretty big position on it, so we just have to accept the loss for what it is, guys. So that's just part of it, and unfortunately, it's the way it goes. But we got Bitcoin recovering a little bit, trading up around $40, or I bid around 40.11, and we'll keep a look at that. And the market's still slowly crawling to the downside. So I think it's only a matter of time until that low of day breaks. What do you got going on?
Not much, man. Just keeping my eye out on still Chewy holding at 27. Trying that one. LMD really, the bottom really dropped off there. It dipped all the way into 23.14 or thereabouts. So, yeah, we got a good stop out there. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. If it wants to reclaim VWAP, that would be a good look. But we got some bills to pay, Joe. So let's do that right now. Here it is. eSignal. One sec. This is where you get to trade smarter, not harder on this platform. Upgrade to that elite trading experience. With eSignal, you'll be able to analyze and strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll be able to capitalize and foresee those profitable opportunities with the platform that you need. You also get infinite data. You get instant trading. You know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data. It's also got great charts. Some would say charts that change the game. You can customize and analyze the markets faster and in the way that you want. And we all know that a good trading plan requires that back testing to make sure it's sound. So you get better back testing and you get better scanning so you can predict the future by understanding that past. And all with reliable real-time data where you get up-to-the-second market information from hundreds of global markets. It's everything you need all in one place, so don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or check the link in the description. I think in one more day, we get that, I think we get the platforms. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
we'll be able to give those a try.
At the beginning of the month, you said, I believe, no?
Yeah,
so
I think it's at the beginning of the month that we get them. So hopefully, yeah, won't have to wait too much longer, man. What are you looking at?
Yeah, we're just keeping our eyes over here on advanced micro devices and just talking to some people in the chat here. Sebastian, no, thank you, appreciate it. Just speaking truth, man. It's just what I try to do. I don't want to mislead or misguide or give any false realities, but that's just the way it goes, guys. So here we are. We're going to pull up the cues one more time for the day. And I think it's only, as I just mentioned before, it's only a matter of time until we break this 484 level and continue. Unless we hold, then we could potentially bounce. But I don't think we make any new higher highs today. I think this is going to be in a potential high, and then we make a lower high from that point if we do bounce. And if it does break that, then we can look for the continuation higher. But I think if we make a lower high off of this pivot, off of this isolated pivot, then we're definitely going to make another leg to the downside. So once those mega caps are dragging the overall market down. It's really, really hard for market breadth to continue to the opposite way. I didn't look at any of the sector ETFs today. I didn't see how XLF or XLP or some of those other sector ETFs are doing. But by just looking at SPY, I'm assuming a lot of them are weak. NVDA down 4.5%, still crawling to the southeast, as a lot of things are. IBIT is still crawling lower. The Qs are crawling lower. So it's only a matter of time, I think, until we break that low of the day, Sharif.
All right, we're going to give this one a bit of a try here. STEC just popped up aggressively there during the midday. Now, it had a bit of an early morning pop right at 11. Well, no, actually, it was moving before that. It really, it started moving around 11:30. That's when the volume really started coming in. It shot up to that $1.50, almost at 12 o'clock, like 10 to the hour or so. It did the mother of all rounded bottoms, got all the way down to that buck, and generally held that dollar area. It was a good little hold there. Then the volume came in fast and furious. So just to retook VWAP. So keeping an eye on this one, small position here, looking to see if this one wants to continue to the north side. So we'll keep an eye out on that. What else we got? ATEC was one that I looked at earlier. Bit of a kind of a consolidative name at the volume weighted average price. Had a nice move up during that 9:30 pop. Just retook VWAP now, but this looks like a range trade here with maybe 8 or high 7s as resistance, and then certainly that 7 3/4 area as support. So that's a range trade for anybody who's interested in that. It's not really my cup of tea, though. So we shall keep an eye out on that one. There we go. Now we're printing up a storm here on STK as we just took out those two tops. Now let's put some other orders north of the 50 penny area. So good continuation here from STEC. Guys, the high of the day is 152. So I've set up my next beak wetter at a $1.52. Obviously to de-risk. Now, I think that the idea here should be to put it at 151, not 152. Because if you can reject off that level, I think there's more likelihood that you reject off the high of the day than you reject 1 penny below it. I'm going to give it a try. I've moved down my order now to about 151. Let's see if this one wants to continue on its merry way to the north side. Again, it's not a midday, it's not a novel one that we're getting midday. It was definitely active in the beginning, but it really did lose all its volume. But there was a buyer of note in and around that dollar area. And now that's happening this pop off again. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, Joe. That's really all I'm included in right now.
Yeah, all right, good look there. Way to turn it around there on that nice trade. See, sometimes it only takes one. I had to take the bucket off, giving me a headache. I have to put it back on later tonight. We got a big game tonight with the boys.
Thursday.
So yeah, Thursdays where Kyle Burdett knows that we got the beer league game tonight too. So shout out Kyle. I mean, guys, listen, it's holding that low like I thought it was. Like I thought it was going to, but I do think that on this pullback, that we do make a lower high. So it's only a matter of time. Time will tell where it decides it wants to go, but I do think we make a lower high here and then potentially go and test the low of the day. Just from overall momentum in the market, there's no real buy program stepping in right now. It's just more profit taking and just slow covering. So that's why you see the decrease in volume, and we just slowly grind on the way back, and then the volume steps up a little bit more on the legs down. So I think that's going to be the narrative for the session, especially after the reports yesterday. And then we have the reports today too. So I don't know if the market's just grabbing liquidity in order to shoot it higher. They want better prices. And then once Amazon and Apple come out, then we can maybe start ripping. But until then, I would just wait for those reports to come out, guys, and see what's going on. Because as of right now, we're down 2.3. I've mentioned this multiple times throughout the day. And now the SPY down 1.6. So it's just a slow grind after the opening auctions. I mentioned the 5-minute range break here, the 5-minute orb. And you have this big volume influx there. I don't really ever pull up SPY on my chart too much here, Sharif, but I talk about it an awful lot. So we'll pull it up here. We're down about $9 on the session. And again, the same type of style of setup. You have your 5-minute opening range here, and then you have the break of it with strong conviction, with some pre-market levels ranging right around that. So that's something you want to keep an eye out as SPY continues to crawl to the downside, about to go and test that lower day, brother. What do you got going on?
I'm keeping my eye here on STEC, man. It worked into that 150. So we moved down our profit taker specifically for that reason, so that it wouldn't reject off the high of the day. But it looks like that 50 penny level was the operative level here, as it rejects at least momentarily. So I'm going to keep my eye very, very much fixed on this one here, looking to print off this bad boy, but it's coming right into my entry again. So nothing changes for me. I've already de-risked a little bit. I can afford to let it drop down a little bit. Let's see if it wants to hold up at that 30 penny area, but 30 pennies is my line in the sand. So it's going to have to pop, or we're going to take it out over here. And there it is. We'll take out the rest there on that. Now, I'm also short Peloton at these levels. Now, why did I get short Peloton? Because it gave up VWAP, and now it's using that previous area of support, that 835 area, as resistance. I actually tried to add on that 835 pop and drop, but I didn't get the add, didn't cross. So we're going to have to deal with the position that we have in now. But I'm looking for something maybe in and around $8. We'll see if this one wants to bleed a little bit more. It gave up VWAP on a closing basis on 3 different candles. But that's not really where I'm basing that entire trade off. That trade is that 835, 836 kind of bottom that we kept putting in over and over. Now, if we've given it up, let's see if we actually use it now as resistance. Keeping an eye on STEC. I think is it going to halt here? What's going on? No, I don't think so. That can't. That's not a halt. That's not a halt. So no, I don't think we're going to halt here on STEC. It's fine. So we'll keep an eye up on this one. I want to take off some of these so that I can put STEC on the side chart. Now, this is really ugly setup right now on STEC, man. There's a huge double top on this chart. Look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, jeez.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at those candles.
Huge topping tail candles. Here's the thing, though. It's still above VWAP. So then look at this. Look at this. It's defending VWAP. So remember, we always talk about these topping tail candles as not being, entirely the end-all and be-all in these small-cap gappers. It's not the same thing as seeing them on a large cap. So let's see if this bad boy wants to hold up at the volume weighted average price. I think we can take a gander over here, and I'm just going to put my stop in and around there, and we'll see what comes of that. If we can take a couple of pennies of profit, why not, right? So we'll set those up. We'll set up those orders, see if this one wants to hold. Not too much in the way of room we're giving this one. Peloton still focused on this one, looking for this one to break the $1/5 of a dollar, but I'd like to add at 35, Joe.
Yeah, guys, I'm over here in some TQs. I'm trying to catch a falling knife here, unfortunately, but I have a definitive out, and that's really key. I know where I'm going to get out. If the lower day breaks, then my thesis is no longer valid, and as of right now, it's looking like it's going to break shortly. I only have about 10 cents left. I didn't put too much size on here just because I don't typically like to catch falling knives, but with this market, you never know if you can bounce. If key support levels are held, then you can possibly continue. But as of right now, Sharif, it's not looking too pretty, but that's okay.
TQs, eh?
Yeah. TQs, yeah. We'll see. I only gave it about 20 cents, 30 cents. But as of right now, it's looking like we're going to go test because it knew that I was getting into the position.
We're getting into that low day, so you can get that pop. We're technically 20,023, Joe, LOD.
So there you go.
On the NQ December contract. So I don't know.
We're sorry, we're picking up momentum here, brother. So it's not looking good.
Well, I mean, you're still not at the lows.
No.
There you go. You got a nice little pop up there. Let's see if it actually touches 23's Ram, because this is the area that I was looking at. Remember the poll, guys, 20,000. If we dip into 20,000, do we pop up off there?
Do we double pull that back up if you don't mind? Yeah. Do we double bottom?
That would be nice.
Right?
Yeah, it would be. I wouldn't mind that. Right? I wouldn't mind that at all.
So we'll just have only time will tell, my friend. So we just have to sit and wait and see what's going on with that one. So as of right now, we're in that. We're going to continue to look on the overall markets. But unfortunately, when you have the mega caps selling like they are, I don't think any of them are positive on the session. So this is the result. This is the type of day that you get. Guys, only 13 minutes left in the show. Yeah. Make sure that you guys throw your questions in the chat. It's been absolutely action-packed. We've been talking spreads and stuff with Raider Trader, his style of trading. We had Sharif over with the small caps, guys. So just make sure you drop those questions in the chat. Anything in particular we would like to look at, then before the end of the day, make sure you put it in there, and that's that, brother.
Yes, sir. Still dealing with this STEC. Did hold VWAP for now, but obviously still well below the previous candle's high, seeing as that is the high of the day. I've set up my beak wetters. Let's see what comes. Maybe we can print in the high 30s, low 40s over here. The hold is good for now. All right, so popping back off into 36. I'm waiting at 39. So 37s, excuse me, on the pop back up. Keep an eye out on that one. What are we doing here with Peloton? We're still below that 835, so I still haven't gotten my ad here on Peloton. But what's most really what I'm keeping my eye on is still below VWAP. So we'll see if we can get that ad on Peloton for the short right now. Looking to take this bad boy south of the volume weighted average price. But we're not printing here on STEC either. Because it's just zigging and zagging at the moment. So not out of the money, but not printing to the high side. What is moving though, guys, and moving quite aggressively and is at the high of the day, SOSX. So this has been very directional, and it's obviously because of the weakness in the chips. Every single microchip name, semiconductor name, whatever you want to call it, on my watch list right now is a negative. And the best faring one on the day is 1.9% in the negative, and that's ASML. Everything else is literally I missed it. Yeah, well, 3% plus in negative right now. Actually, everything's 3 plus. So nothing really being spared right now in SOXS, which is, again, the triple levered inverse ETF for the chips. So now we got our ad here on Peloton, so I'm going to have to put my stop. And Joe, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, brother, we're starting to pick up. We might have got that double bottom play that I was mentioning. So we're going to hold this, Sharif, and see if we can potentially create a higher high, or we reject and create a lower high. So only time will tell with that one. But we're sitting in this around 69.85s, just a little bit above break even now. We hold those in. Sharif, I was this close to exiting the position, but you said, dude, we're not quite at the low of day yet. So I thought, I'm like, okay, let me hold on to this a little bit more. And guess what? We are now almost 10 pennies and then 15 pennies in the money. So there you go. Thanks for that one there. Yeah, levels count. Levels count. And 20,000, whoever pointed that out on the NQ, congratulations. We absolutely played that one, so we had fun. So good luck on that one, guys. So we'll continue to hold. We'll see if the rest of the market, the mega cap, the chips are starting to bounce a little bit. Let's take a look over here at MSFT at Microsoft to see if we're starting to recover any whatsoever, considering the session that it's had. Okay, so yeah, you know what? We'll come back and we'll talk some more, but we're going to go to Andrew, guys.
Get it, Andrew.
Yar, okay, I need to stop doing that. So as far as the markets right now, just a little update on SPY itself. So when we talk about when a market bottoms, you really want to look for two major things. You want to look for a technical bottom, which is where the initial force of a drop gets forced out of the market. It's like a basketball dropping from the air, you hit the ground. That's not actually the bottom. That's not when the ball stops falling. It goes up a little higher, and then it goes back down. But it never goes back to that, of course, just falling straight through the earth. So what I like to look for after a technical bottom is a liquidation bottom. And this is going to be a new low like we just saw now. Is it right now? Is it forming right now? Potentially. And what you look at the rotations is the market still believes that, hey, we are still in a growth rotation. Markets right now are starting to look for everything to move to the upside now. But what you want to see is a base. You want to see after that liquidation, a move back up towards a high, a consolidation similar to an inverse head and shoulders. If you wonder where that functionality, where that principle comes from, it's from that very principle that you do get a liquidation and then you get that move higher. So this right here, from my end, it looks like a bunch of defensive, moving out of defensives into growth. So I'll be looking, if we do close back above that like 571.40, somewhere around there, you should get a nice little continuation to the end of the day. But again, when we talk about timing, 2 p.m. into 4 p.m., that's when you start to see those big moves. So for now, we're just chilling.
Thank you very much for that, Raider. All right, so STEC did well. We printed on this one. Where are we long? We're at 33s, wet my beak at 40s, 42, 46. Now we're waiting at the local high of 48, a bigger position for me anyway, looking for this one to run up a little bit. I'd like a $0.50 break, but I'm very cognizant of the fact that the $0.50 has been a resistance level on the day and can't seem to break through that, at least not yet, right? And when you put in this kind of rounded bottom, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people's attention. So I did expect that we would have this volatility. So this was the second position that we added onto STEC. We'll see if this one wants to run above 48. So right now, 48 acting as that resistance level. So we'll keep tabs on that. I'm also short, again, on Peloton. I added at 35s. I've got the beak wetter at 20s. It is rejecting off 35, and it's been doing that a number of times. I am concerned, though, of the higher lows that it's putting in, even though it's rejecting. So you can see multiple, I think we've got 3 candles now on the 5-minute that have rejected off 835. Every successive candle after that, though, has had a bit of a higher low. So that concerns me because that means buyer exuberance, buying it up higher and higher, or at prices that are higher and higher and higher every incremental time. So I don't know if that's the look. So I'm keeping my eye really close to that one. Still waiting for that STEC pop or drop. Anyway, the order for my stop remains the same through the break of the $0.25. So we're going to have to give this one room because that's the area trough. So if I want to put the stop anywhere else, I'm just kind of playing a guessing game as to where it might hold up. Try to put the odds in my favor by putting it at the area low. So we'll see if we can kind of eke out a little bit more out of that, Joe. Right now, though, let's talk about some other ones that we haven't looked at for a hot minute. DJT. It's not, it's not the big mover that it's been. I mean, obviously a big mover downside, so people like the big spiled one would be very interested in this.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you again there. I was just thinking about Kyle because he's like puts on SPY. For a whole week he was asking me about puts on SPY, and looks like his thesis is playing out. It's a good work, Kyle.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows exactly? It's a good look, man, because we didn't have that weak October.
No.
We didn't get it. So if you're still a believer of seasonality, then maybe we do get it. Maybe we get it in November. Who knows? So shout out to him. Hope he prints up a storm, no doubt about that. Personally, I don't want it to go down because I think if the future goes down, Apple gets tanked, and I don't want Apple to get tanked because, well, it's the biggest position. So that is the look there. Keeping my eye still on Peloton. We're going to wait for some print on this. I've been waiting at 820, Joe, but not getting it. But now we're getting lower highs. So even though we had that higher low, now we're getting lower highs as well, so a compression pattern forming. How does it resolve? Well, the textbook says it resolves in the direction of the trend. Well, it depends on what trend you're looking at. We're obviously up 25% on the day, but locally, we're definitely lower than that 892. So the current trend that we're in at the moment, at least the micro trend, is lower highs and lower lows from that 892 touch all the way down to 820, where I'm waiting right now for some profit. So we'll keep tabs on that, and we'll also have to keep tabs on STEC, because it's still zigging and zagging, Joe.
Yep, that's it, guys. I accidentally exited my full TQQ position, but as of right now, it's not looking like a horrible mistake. So we got all out of that, guys. We'll just hop through a quick review on what I executed throughout the day. So as you can see, I got this on TQs. That worked out pretty good for me. Then we have this on IBIT. I think this was one that I only took this one once. I forget whatever. Oh, Tesla was the other one. So we got the bottom on IBIT there. And then as well as Tesla. Tesla was the one that we took multiple trades on here that worked out pretty well for us. 1, 2, 3. The third one moved, and then we did get that move slowly just below the volume weighted average price there. And then we had this one loser on AMD because I'm just not in sync with it, dude. Like, I don't know. Lisa. So, yeah, like, no, but Lisa, like, come on, you're killing me anyways here. But yeah, Kyle, good look there on the SPY. I was just about to talk about it a little bit there, Kyle, for you. He was asking me about some bear call spreads on this thing and how to implement different strategies because he thought that the SPY was going to sell in the near term, and it did exactly that. We're down off the highs. We're down just about 3%. Hey, Kyle, I think you said something around 20%, which is a little hefty, but I mean, we're down 3% off the highs there on SPY. So, I mean, good luck there. Your thesis is starting to pan out on that one. But guys, as of right now, I don't think I'm going to put on any more positions because we're almost here at the end of the day. And then we'll see. We'll wait until 2 o'clock, and then we got the big earnings announcements, and we'll keep an eye out for the imbalance. Brother, what do you got going on?
I'm looking at Chewy, Joe. It's recovering. So CHWY on the New York. We know that the Catman was offloading his position on this one yesterday and had it sending down. Today, it's popping up a little bit. Yeah, it's not really doing much. 1.84% coming into that 2690, an area of importance. Why? Because we kind of rejected off that area earlier. Now come back, test it again. It was a couple of tests at that 2690. Initially rejected, cleared it, got into 2705, tested 2690 again. It held. Now this time It's holding a double bottom on this side of the analysis over here from 130 onwards. They already tested it twice on the 1. So interesting look right now on Chewy's. It tries to curl back into 27, still well off the highs, 27, 23. We'll keep tabs on that one. Still holding on to STEC, still waiting for that 48. I like what this is doing though. So even though it has umpteen amount of topping tail candles, what it does have is higher lows. And we know that this one was zooming into the high. So it's just a matter of whether I get zigged out over here on a quick drop down, pushes me out. De-risked already. Took out how many exits? 3 so far. So I still have half the position, left on STEC. It's going to have to cooperate, though, at these levels. So I'm watching it, seeing what this one does. Peloton, though, might be a problem. So we got into the short over here to account for this area that we had been basically bouncing off, and we were rejecting off it. But now we're a little bit above it. So I kept my stop in place. I don't want to be forced into this trade where I have to dollar cost average. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. A pop above that mid 40 area. I'm gone. Adair's at the big desk.
Ming Chi Kuo strikes again, this time tweeting here about about SMCI earlier today, tweeting about Broadcom. For those who are unaware, Ming Chi Kuo is an mostly Apple supply chain analyst based out of China who will release tweets and newsletters, releasing this newsletter called Some Predictions About Supermicro from a Geopolitical Perspective. The story itself is pretty short, only 3 paragraphs long, but starting here with saying that based on his experience, Ming Chi Kuo believes that the resignation of this auditor for SMCI, which was announced yesterday, is a serious red flag and, quote, the likelihood of Supermicro facing a worst-case scenario, such as a trading suspension or delisting, is increasing. So Ming Chi Kuo saying that SMCI might still have more downside to come for the stock and for this company, saying that we could witness a significant shakeup in Supermicro's executive team or board of directors. So interesting notes here. SMCI, just be aware because Ming Chi Kuo tweets can move the market, guys.
Uh-oh, Ming Chi strikes again. Ming Chi strikes again. We'll have to see, like what his record of accuracy is soon. We'll find out. We'll find out because especially with respect to Apple, I mean, we don't have to wait longer. I think 4:30 they're slated to report. So that's the big one for me. Yep. Caterpillar was another big one for me. Missed, but like a few days before that, I had taken off half the position, so I was happy.
In the LT?
Oh, yeah. Caterpillar is the 3rd largest position. So Apple, number 1.
Yep.
Palo Alto Networks, number 2.
Okay.
That's been a big monster for me. I don't share my price, but it's a monster so far. Caterpillar was okay. It's a little bit worse now. And Apple is, been holding that one for a year and 3 months.
Oh, so there you go.
I've never held anything that long.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, this is the longest I've ever held a name.
A position, okay.
Yeah,
So
August 2023.
Oh, so
you
you're
can
sitting
kind of
pretty.
figure out where I'm
yeah, you're sitting pretty. He's almost in Suntan City with that position.
We'll see. Well, we could be. I don't know. We could be lower today, though, Joe. We're tanking right now,
after
man.
the
We're well
report.
off the highs. 226. We gave up that 230 level easy.
Or is it a liquidity? Ooh.
Yeah, I'll call it whatever I want, right, bro?
Maybe it's just a liquidity grab, and then we just absolutely rip to new all-time highs.
You think so?
No. But
this guy's just trolling me,
no, but it's my 4th largest in my position.
Look, bro,
and at one time it was my largest.
Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Though? So I am kind of a little bit convoluted in how I feel about this, and the reason is because consumers are running out of money. Mm-hmm. So these phones aren't cheap anymore.
But how long has the consumer been running out of money?
Well, yeah, it's not like an overnight thing.
Right.
Usually kind of,
Right.
like
after the COVID bubble.
That's the thing, right? A lot of the COVID money and the savings and the stimmies and whatever that went out.
Stimmy, you still
they're drying up, Joe.
You can't be still holding on to any stimmy, guys.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I hope not, right? Oh, crap.
Right, yeah,
it is now 2:02, baby.
Overtime.
Big Kahunas have been locked and loaded. They're ready. So we'll see everyone very soon, hopefully tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Get it, Big Kahunas.
Go, Buds, go.
It's all good. Might be 2:02, but that just means it was a